I don't know what that was, little glitch. Hopefully it didn't bother you. It had the wrong orientation on the video there at first, and then it switched to the other orientation, but it was distorted. So that's why I switched it to the other camera on the back, then switched it back this way, and it seems to have cleared it up. Yahweh's eye is cleared up. So, as I always say, technology, So anyway, let me continue getting the frame set up correctly here, and we're going to get right into it. That looks about right. All right. So you see the quote on the thumbnail, right? The quote on the thumbnail by Albert Einstein. He's famously quoted for saying, it's a pretty, widely known quote, relatively widely known quote, famous quote by Albert Einstein, that he doesn't know what weapons, if you watch that movie Oppenheimer, there was a scene in the movie Oppenheimer where Oppenheimer went up and talked to Albert Einstein in that movie for a little bit, just one quick little scene. So they were contemporaries when Oppenheimer was working on the atomic bomb, and that's why he's quoted for saying, "I know not what weapons World War III will be fought with," meaning he assumed and knew, or assumed, to him in his mind it was a foregone conclusion that there was going to be a third world war, but World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones. You can read the quote on the thumbnail, but it's pretty much that. And the question is, was he right? And I'm gonna get straight to the chase, and the answer is he couldn't be more wrong. All right. Now, he did have a certain idea that was along the right path, and he talked about there. He assumed there was going to be a third world war. He's right about that. Matter of fact, we're in it now. Okay, Revelation 11:14. Behold, the second woe is past; the third woe cometh quickly. Okay, and you can precede that with Revelation 9:12, which tells you that the first woe is past as well. So 1 and 2 are done, and then there's a third one coming, and it says it's coming quickly. So quickly, in fact, that it's here already. And you might ask yourself a question. Well, wait a minute. I thought John on the Isle of Patmos, I thought he was a prophet, not a historian. Well, you're correct. He is a prophet. But there is some history in Revelation, the book of Revelation. There is some history in it, all right, but it's presented in metaphoric fashion. But it is, by and large, a prophetic book. In other words, the bulk of what John was seeing in those visions was all prophetic. Okay, it was things that were still out in the future, right? And you would say, okay, well, what about those precepts there about Revelation 9 and 12, Revelation 11 and 14? And you can also read about the three woes in Revelation 8 chapter as well. What about that? Was that part of the small percentage that was historic? That's why, maybe when John was on the scene, the first two woes had already happened, and the third one was going to happen pretty shortly, while he was still alive, or maybe shortly after he died. No. All three of those were prophetic. Well, then why are they written? Why did he write it in the sense that they're already in the past? Because it was written for us here today in this time now that we're in. All right, it wasn't written for back then. It was written for us now in this time. And now that we've been given the understanding of the prophecies of the end time prophetic scriptures, we've been given the understanding released back on the earth, Revelation the 11th chapter. Okay, and the spirit of life entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. The spirit of life, which is the Holy Spirit, Ruach HaKodesh, what gives us the understanding of the scriptures, because it was sealed and it was hidden. We were asleep. Okay, your prophets and your seers have he hidden. Okay, going into Isaiah, but now shall they no more be removed into a corner. That's Isaiah the 30th chapter, and I want to say it's Isaiah the 29th chapter. Pretty sure it's 29, might be 26, but I think it's 29, where he says he's poured upon us the spirit of deep sleep. Okay, you can go to the book of Daniel, seal up the book, Daniel, until the time of the end. Seal up the book, Daniel, until the time of the end. Okay, when knowledge shall be increased, men shall run to and fro. Seal up the book. Seal it up. Okay, the understanding is sealed. Until when? Forever? No. Until the end. Oh, the end. By end, you mean what? End times, the latter times. When the spirit of life will enter back into us, and we're going to stand upon our feet, and great fear is going to fall upon them that see us, because we're speaking, thus saith Yahweh Shem Shah, because the spirit which is indwelling us, the spirit which is indwelling us, the Holy Spirit, gives us the understanding, okay, of the scriptures, the end time prophecies. So it was written for this time. That's the reason why it says the first woe is past in Revelation 9 and 12. And in Revelation 11 and 14, it says the second woe is past. And then it follows that up with the third woe cometh quickly. So quickly, in fact, that it is here already. So when we got this truth back in 1969, 1970, through one man by the name of Elder Bivens, Zaquan Bivens, right? Fulfilling Malachi, the 4th chapter and the 5th verse. Again, this time in its totality, okay? Before the great and dreadful and fearful day of Yahweh, I will send unto you Elijah the prophet, which is what Yahweh Shai was referring to when he told the disciples that John the Baptist was Elijah the prophet, reincarnation. And he said, which was for to come, meaning which was prophesied to come. He was talking about that Malachi 4 and 5 I just told you about. And I think it continues to the 6th verse as well. All right, that's the reason why. So Albert Einstein was correct that there would be a third world war. We're in it right now. The question is, how is it going to end? Well, that's what this whole lesson series, this is part 61, has been going into. Okay, all out thermonuclear war, which we will be touching. We're going to touch on that probably, I'd imagine, every part. All out thermonuclear war. Okay, the complete and total utter destruction of America, Babylon the Great, and the land of Israel, which you should be able to clearly see now, looking at the geopolitical events, that those two are the two main instigators and players stirring up the pot of end-time biblical prophecy, leading to the destruction of America, Babylon the Great, and the land of Israel, pursuant to Jeremiah 49:20, Jeremiah 50 and 45, which is why Joel 2 and 20 is in full effect, being fulfilled right now, which is putting us in the middle of Ezekiel 38 chapter, which is what we have just completed breaking down, about 5, 6, 7 parts ago. We're around about verses 5, 6, and 7 in Ezekiel 38, and we're going to run all the way through the rest of Ezekiel 38 and into Ezekiel 39, which is what we're currently breaking down. We're going to run through all of the balance of Ezekiel 38 and into Ezekiel 39 in short order. Matthew 24, 21, and 22. The Most High is speeding up the time. He's hastening the time. All right? So he was right about that. There is a third world war, and we're in it right now. But what about this fourth world war part? Will there be a World War IV? The answer is no. He couldn't have been more wrong about that. There will be no World War IV because when we, the Israelites, are established at the top of the mountains, Isaiah the 2nd chapter, Isaiah the 4th, Malachi the 4th chapter, Isaiah the 2nd chapter, which we've already gotten. We're probably going to touch on them again today, at least one of them. There's going to be peace on earth. And when I say peace on earth, I mean beautiful peace. Not some peace where things are basically okay, but a little this, that, there, and another. I mean, come on, man, that's normal. No, beautiful peace will be on earth. There will be no more war. Nations are not going to even have any more weapons. And that's the precept that we're in right now in Ezekiel 39. And Ezekiel 39 verses, 9 and 10? Yeah, that's where we're at right now. That's where we're reading about how one of the first things we're going to do once we come down off the chariots, one of the first things we're going to do is we're going to finish off these nations, all the heathen nations, starting with Esau, Edom. We're going to finish them off in their continuity of governments, because they got their best weapons tucked away for a rainy day. Okay? And that rainy day is talking about a rain of thermonuclear warheads. Okay? And where it's going to rain fire and brimstone. Okay? And they got their best weapons that you would think don't exist. Weapons you would think are science fiction. Okay? Tucked away. They're super soldiers. They got that. Hey, you haven't been paying attention to the news, man. Some of the things that Esau really's got going on, he ain't going to keep it on blast long, man. He'll let it slip out a little bit. Hey, I told you. And then it goes back under wraps. But it's been on the world news how these various different nations are working on super soldiers. Okay? You think they're going to tell you the full breadth and depth of it? Hey, I told you I'm working on super soldiers. That's it. That's all they're going to say. And then so you have no idea, man. And then they show you stuff in their shows, in their movies and stuff. Okay? So his super soldiers, his science fiction weapons, and all this type of stuff is super secret, top secret technology. He's got all that tucked away for a rainy day. And I already told you what that rainy day is talking about. Well, we're gonna go and we're gonna grab them up out of their bunkers, their space stations, their underwater bunkers, their submarine. We're gonna grab them up out of wherever they're at. We're gonna bust them up, bust up their super soldiers, bust up bust up all their weapons, and then whatever weapons remain, we're gonna burn them all. We're gonna round up all the weapons. We're gonna throw them in a pit. Okay, we're gonna throw them in a pit. And then after many days, we're going to visit them, and we're going to slap chains and fetters of iron on them, the 149th Psalm, and we're going to give them their first work assignment, which is what's coming up next in Ezekiel 39. Okay? See? And so this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do. So there's going to be beautiful peace on earth. Doesn't that sound great? It sounds good to me, man. Beautiful peace on earth. But he did kind of have a right idea in the sense that he said World War IV, there will be no World War IV. But he said it's going to be fought with sticks and stones, which you can make weapons out of sticks and stones, but are sticks and stones really technically weapons? No. But you can make a weapon out of almost anything, right? So really what he was saying is there ain't going to be no more weapons, right? You're going to have to get that stick right there and pick up that stone right there, and you're going to have to fight with that, right? So what he was really saying was there ain't going to be no more weapons. That's true. That's true, and I just gave you the precept. That's actually the precept we're breaking down right now in Ezekiel 39, verses 9 and 10. But there's a lot in those two verses. There's a lot there. So we've gone to Isaiah 2, we've gone to Micah 4, and we're probably going to touch on one of those two again, hit on Jeremiah 50, and then we'll be back in Isaiah 14, which is where we're at right now as a precept passage for Ezekiel 39, 9 and 10. Because we're going to, through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shemashah, we're going to work our way all the way down through all of Ezekiel 39. We've already broken down all of Ezekiel 35. We broke down the first 15 chapters of Ezekiel 36. We might come back and break down the rest of Ezekiel 36. Because that's like one of my favorite passages in the Bible. And I got a lot of them. You know? So depending on what day of the week it is, I'll say that about any passage, right? Right? But then we touched on Ezekiel 37, which is talking about the valley of dry bones, which is America, Babylon the Great. You're looking at it. You're looking at it. And dry bones represents the whole house of Israel. Your interpretation. The Most High Yahweh himself says so right there in the book. So what you talking about? Shut up. Okay. Then we broke down Ezekiel 38, like I told you. And we were in that for a long time. And now we're in Ezekiel 39. So we'll see what's after this. Okay, all subject to the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shemashah. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Before I do, I'm going to turn and face the east. Wanathan called the Pa Arath, Hawad, Wahaloyim, Rabatham Yatla, Allah Hayanoah, Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shabbat, Recha HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Much peace, love, and respect to the brothers teaching and pushing this truth to the four corners of the earth, to the hopeful elect, the 144,000 and the 1/3, as well as the rest of the elect scattered abroad amongst the heathen nations to the four corners of the earth, east, north, south, and west. To you, I say, Shalom. This is your brother Ra'ib Tazadakwa coming back at you again, all through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, with another lesson, another live stream teaching, another live altar teaching, an altar in the midst of Egypt. That's what it's talking about. That Egypt being America, Babylon the Great. Yahweh Ratazah, Yahweh willing, this lesson is going to be edifying and encouraging to you, Achim, brothers, and any Achwa, sisters, that may be listening and or watching. All right, and so let me go ahead and greet the brothers and sisters that are getting on the comment board right now. And shalom to the brother Ariel Yasha Allah 777. Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shabbat Kodash Brakatah to you, Malak. Glad you could join us, Lord willing, you are edified. To the brother La'ab Nabathan, shalom to you as well, Malak. Glad you could join us, Lord willing, you are edified. Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shabbat Kodash Brakatah to you as well. And shalom to the brother Hanan Yah Shadyah Khan. Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shabbat Kodash Brakatah to you, Malak. Glad you could join us, Lord willing, you are edified as well. And finally, shalom to the Akhwat, the sister, Kwame Hassani, poetess, daughter of Zion, showing up as New Jerusalem Family Bible. Shalom to you, Akhwa, Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shabbat Kodash Barakatah as well. All right, Yahweh Ratazah, you all are edified and encouraged and strengthened by Zah Amaf, Wa Amawan, in this truth and in this faith. All right, and may Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Taba Wa'ah, Amawan. All right, I'm a one, shall call, okay? May the Heavenly Father increase your faith, all of us, okay? Nawa, Abba Salakia. Abba Adawan Nawa. I said that wrong. I'm a one Nawa. Yeah, I'm a one now. There you go. Slakia. Got a little tongue tied there. Hey, that's why we're rehearsing the righteous acts, right? You know. And shalom to the brother, Omar Smith 121. Shalom to you, Malak. Shalom to you, Achia. Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shabbat Kudash Brakatah to you as well, Malak. Glad you could join us, Lord willing. You were edified. In case anybody doesn't know, Malak is the Hebrew for king. Okay, Ach again, it's brother. Okay, and may the Heavenly Father Haya Afnawa. May the Heavenly Father Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shah Haya Afnawa. May the Heavenly Father Yahweh in the name of Yahweh Shah be with us. All right. So Albert Einstein was not right. He had some things he was kind of pointing in the right direction. There ain't gonna be no weapons. How do we know that? The scripture says so. After the Third World War is over, after Gog, the land of Gog, is finished, meaning the army of Gog, the land of Gog, which we read about in the preceding verses of Ezekiel 39, one of the first things we're going to do after those other things I told you about, okay, was we're going to finish off the heathen nations and take their leaders that, we're going to kill a lot of them because they're going to be fighting us. So we're going to get rid of a lot of them. But the ones that remain, we're going to throw their asses in the pit, and we're going to round up all their weapons, and we're going to burn all their weapons. Then when we're done, we're going to come and we're going to grab them up out of the pit, slap fetters of iron and chains of iron and fetters on them, and we're going to give them their work assignments. And the first work assignment, well, that's what's coming up in the following verses. It's going to be to bury all the dead bodies. Okay, that's what's coming up next in Ezekiel 39, and then it gets into the glory and the splendor and the mercy and the grace and all of that on us, which is why I think I might wind up going back over to Ezekiel 36, the second half of that chapter, because the second half of Ezekiel 36 kind of gets into the same thing. Man, that's a beautiful passage. I love that passage. I don't mean to gush on it, but I gush on it. Okay? So it's one of my favorite passages. All right? So we might go there. And if we do that, I mean, then I've broken down all of 35, all of 36, and all of 38, and all of 39. So we might as well break down 37 then. So if I do that, then that way we would have broken down 35, 36, 37, 38, and 39. Seems like a plan to me, right? I mean, why would I leave 37 just dangling, with a few little verses? I mean, just get the whole thing, right? So I think I'll probably do that, but it's all subject to the spirit. Something else might get dropped on my desk. Do this, and then I'm off to the races, But anyway, we'll see. Okay, so, there will be no weapons. The nations are not going to have any more weapons after this. So no sticks, no stones, no nothing, man. They're gonna have sticks and stones, of course, but there will be no more weapons. Let's just show that. And that's the main thing we're getting into right now. I took a break last time because I had to get in on that devil, what's his name? That President Johnson? Oh no, Truman. Yeah, Truman. I keep wanting to say Johnson. Because after Esau Edom, in accordance with what it says in Revelation the 13th chapter, after they made fire come down from heaven, talking about dropping those atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, he was getting interviewed, and they asked him, and they said, do you view the atomic bomb as a weapon? This was after. He was said, do you view it as a weapon or as a curse? And he was like, well, I'm not a weapon. He said, as a blessing or as a curse. And he was like, well, I view it as a blessing. Okay, which took us right to Genesis 27, 39, 40, 41, because that is their blessing, the sword, going into all manner of weaponry. And the weaponry that they've been blessed with on the highest level is the thermonuclear weapons. All right, and it started with those atomic bombs, right? But they've been blessed with all manner of weaponry. And he was like, it's a blessing. And he was straight-faced, no remorse, no regret, nothing like, well, you know what? I kind of was hemming and hawing about it because I knew how devastating it was going to be. I knew how many people was going to get killed. And, I didn't want to make the decision, but ultimately I had to, for whatever reason, and I'm losing sleep. No, none of that. He was like, oh, it was a blessing. Oh, it's a blessing. I wanted a weapon that would end the war, and that's what it did. And that's all I'm caring about. That's all I care about. I don't give a damn about all those babies, those children, those anythings that got wiped out and obliterated and eviscerated, that were melted, just like it says in 2 Peter 3, 10 through 12. And the elements shall melt with fervent heat. Oh, it's a blessing. That's all I was thinking about, was ending the war. And it did that. Blessing. So I had to go in on that, tie that into Revelation 6 and 4, how Habakkuk 2 and 4 No, 2 and 5. You can get the 4, but I meant to say 5. Where this man is equated to death. And in that verse, it said that he is as hell, which is talking about the grave, and cannot be satisfied. He's never satisfied. I saw somebody today lamenting on a video, and it was one of them. At least he looked like one of them, one of the Edomites. And he was saying in there, he was going into how the elites that are running this world into the ground, and that are taking the very little that the poor have. He's just taking every bit and everything, even the very little that the poor have. He was just going into how they have everything. Why is it that they're taking even the very little that we, the poor, have? And he was like, I just can't believe it. I don't understand why they're taking every last thing. They got more than they could ever. And that's what the scripture says. Okay? But the answer is in Habakkuk 2 and 5. He is as hell and cannot be satisfied. See? The answers are in the book. This is the answers to everything, including what has been and why, what is and why, and what's about to happen and why. And what comes hereafter, even beyond that, okay? And the answer is there's going to be beautiful peace in the kingdom of heaven under us, the Israelites, for all of eternity. That is what Jerusalem means. You do know that, right? Yerah Shalom, Yerah city, Shalom peace, city of peace. So how are we going to establish that peace? Well, we're going to take this rod of iron right here. We're going to go upside the heads of the heathen nations until they learn. And then there's going to be peace. Right, like the Sith Lord said in Star Wars, and he was talking about beating down the rebels, and then he goes into beating down the rebels, and then he goes, you know, they're supposed to be the bad guys, and he goes, and then there shall be peace, like that. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah. Right. So that's what we're gonna do. That's true too, brother. Yup, that old James Bond movie, The World Is Not Enough, man. And yeah, he's never satisfied, man. The scriptures don't lie, man. The scriptures are undefeated. The scriptures, the prophecies are undefeated. The scriptures are faithful and true. The scriptures, the word of the Most High is sharper than any two-edged sword, dividing asunder soul and spirit, bone and marrow, and discerning the hearts and intents of men, man. No, that ain't it. No, I just swear it, I know that ain't it. And then when everything's laid bare, that's exactly it. You looking goofy as hell. Okay? Because the scriptures are undefeated, man. Okay? So that's what's gonna happen. So let me just touch on, we've already covered these, but let me just touch on this. Okay? Real quick before we get back into Isaiah 14. Because I didn't really intend to break down the whole chapter, but that's kind of like what I'm doing, or most of it, not all of it, but you never know. This is Micah. You could go to Isaiah 2. Isaiah 2 and Micah 4 are pretty much identical at the top. From like the first 4 verses in Isaiah 2 and the first 5 verses in Micah 4, pretty much identical. Let everything be confirmed by the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses. Well, you got Isaiah and you got Micah. Let's go to, they both say pretty much the same thing. Okay? But Micah, the 4th chapter and the 5th verse tells you how that the heathen nations are going to be worshiping us as gods in the kingdom of heaven, all to the glory of our Father, Yahweh. Okay? Every heathen is going to belong to a son of God, which is a God. Okay? 82nd Psalm, 1 John 3, 1 and 2, Zechariah 12 and 8. Especially the Zechariah 12 and 8 and 82nd Psalm. Okay? So I tend to like to go to that one for that reason, because that's something that needs to be driven home and emphasized. Okay? We're in punishment right now. That's why we're down here living in these mortal corruptible bodies as mere mortal men, but we're not. We're angels in fleshly bodies. Okay? And that's what Jude was talking about. Okay? And also I want to say Apostle Peter as well. But let me get you this in Micah 4. That's usually why I like to go to Micah over Isaiah. Other than that, they're identical. Yeah, so let me get this for you. Here it is. And you can start at 1. We already broke this all down from 1 all the way down to 5. And then we went to Isaiah 2 in a different part and got 1 through 4 there. Okay? And again, we've already broke this. This is a brief little touch because we're trying to get back into the precept passage that we're in, which is Isaiah 14. Going into how there will be peace on earth for all eternity. Don't you want that? Okay? Don't you see all the warring and the fighting and the bloodshed that's taking place on planet Earth under the leadership and the rulership, under the watch of the biblical Edomites? Who that? Who that? That's the bloodline descendants of Esau. Who that? That's the so-called white man, generally speaking. Okay, and I say generally speaking because not all so-called white people go back to Esau. It's really a bloodline thing, not a skin color thing, but that is the general way the Father has set it up for them to look like, pursuant to Genesis 25:25. Put that with Isaiah 1:18. Put that with Revelation 6:4. They're the rider on the red horse. That's the reason why men are killing each other all over the planet, and there's no peace on earth. And that's the reason why America, Babylon the Great, in its 250 years of existence this year, has been at war 93, 94%, whichever it is, and rising percent of its time of existence. Explain that. Explain that. Is that normal? Hell no, that ain't normal. Look at the other nations. Hell no, that ain't normal. Okay? All right? 93 or 4%, something like that, and rising because they're at war right now. Okay? Percent of its time in existence has been at war. Because America, Babylon the Great is the hammer of the whole earth. And it's controlled by the violent, bloody man, blessed with the sword, who is the rider on the red horse. That's why. You don't like it, you want to reject it, go ahead, you can do that, but you know it makes sense. You know it fits. Find me somebody else that fits the bill better. I ain't think so. Okay? So you can reject it if you want to, but do so at your own peril. Okay, Micah 4, and let me get straight to the point here. This is all review. We've already got this. Okay, this is verse 3. And he shall judge among many people, meaning the heathen nations, and rebuke. This is in the kingdom of heaven, and rebuke strong nations afar off, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares. Now, is this literal? Like they're going to take some swords that they still got left over? No, I mean, you could probably, maybe somebody somewhere might find a sword somewhere buried under, but this is really getting into metaphoric, meaning all the resources and stuff that the heathen nations used to, the energy and the resources and whatnot and the time and all that they used to direct towards defense and war and manufacturing weapons, all of that's going to be redirected and repurposed into agricultural and other types of pursuits to support the population. Okay, because there will be a population explosion. Okay, people talking about the earth is overpopulated with 8+ billion running up on 9 billion. Wait till you see how many people this earth can support, managed under the proper management of the sons of God. Which takes us real quick through the spirit to Romans the 8th chapter. Okay, you got to understand everything you're being told here is a lie. The man who's in control, who's running the show, he's the father of lies. John 8:44. Go read it. But I want to read you this in Romans 8 real quick to make that point, since the Spirit brought it up. This is Romans 8, and just dealing with the wind blowing the pages on me. I'm gonna just get the point. Couple of verses here. Let's get verse 19. For the earnest expectation of the creature waited for the manifestation, all right, of the sons of God. Who are the sons of God? Well, it's everybody. No. The sons of God are the ones who are called the sons of God. The Hebrew word for Israel is Yasha'Allah. It's actually a phrase, and it's 3 words. The Hebrew word for he is Yah. That's the same word that's at the beginning of the Father's name and the Son's name. Yah, Hawa, he, Hawa exists, it is, or to be. That's the Father's name. That's what his name means. That's because it's true, right? Of course. He is, he exists, he to be. He always has been, he is, and he always will be. He's the Ancient of Days, Daniel 7th chapter, right? And then Yahushai. Yah, he, Hawashai, delivers, meaning he saves, the Redeemer, right? The Savior, the Deliverer, okay? Yah, he. Okay, so go back to Yasha'Allah. Yah, he, Shar. Well, that's Prince. Prince. Hey, there's the Prince right there. He's the son of a king. How you say Prince in Hebrew? Shar. Yah, Shar. He, Prince. Okay? Allah. Well, that's been translated most often to God. It's been translated to other things like mighty ones and things like that. Mighty, excels in strength is what it means, right? But it's most often been translated to God. Okay? Yah, Shar, Allah. He, Prince, God, right? That's the direct literal translation. No, we don't speak that way in English, do we? So we put in some connecting words to soften it up, and what do you got? Yashar Allah becomes he, Prince, God, or I meant to say Yashar Allah, he, Prince, power, actually, because the direct translation would be power. Most people say God. It's been translated to God, but he, Prince, power. He, Prince, power, right? That's where I get my YouTube handle from. He, Prince, power. So that's why a lot of times you see brothers reading the scriptures and they'll come across that word, and in English it'll say God, but we'll say power. Or sometimes you'll hear me say Most High, right? So he, Prince, power is the most direct literal translation, but he is the prince of the power is how you would soften it up with some connecting words. He is the prince of the power. A prince is what? A son of a king. So take out prince and put in son, and the power or mighty one there is actually the Almighty, the Most High, right? So the power being referred to there is who the world ignorantly and incorrectly calls God. So take out power and put in God, and now you have he is the Son of God. And that's the reason why that chosen lineage, that chosen line that came down through Adam, through Seth, and that was preserved through Noah after the flood, down through Arphaxad and Peleg and then Nahor and Terah and not Nahor, I think Terah and Abram, whose name was later changed to Abraham. That's the chosen lineage, which you can read about in Matthew the 1st chapter and Luke the 3rd chapter. And that's why when you get down to the bottom of it in Matthew's the 1st chapter, it gets to Adam and it says who is the Son of God, because that's the lineage, the chosen holy lineage from Adam down through Noah, down through all those Arphaxad and Peleg and Terah and Abram, and his name was later changed to Abraham, and the Most High called him out and started to deal with him, and then it went from him to not all of his seed, but the chosen of his seed, which is Isaac, and then from Isaac it went to, well, which one? He's got two. Is it both or is it just one? Well, Hebrews 12 and 16, 17, 18 tells you that Esau was rejected. Okay, no place of repentance, though you saw that carefully with tears. So that leaves Jacob, and that's what you hear: Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. But it had been preserved through Abraham, through Adam, down through Seth, down all the way through Noah. The lineage is all recorded in the scriptures. These are the sons of God that would later be called Israel. Okay, the Israelites. That's the chosen lineage. Okay, he is the Son of God. We are the sons of God. And so when it says here in Romans the 8th chapter that for the earnest expectation of the creature, that creature is talking about all of creation. All of creation. All of creation. The NLT puts it something similar to this. All of creation is eagerly awaiting for it to be revealed who the true sons of God are. That's how the NLT puts it, and that's pretty good. That's pretty good. All of creation, everything is waiting. The earth, the ants, the bugs, the fucking plants, everything is waiting for the true manifestation, for it to be truly revealed who the real sons of God are. Okay? And that would be the Israelite men. And so under our rulership in the kingdom of heaven, which we're reading about in Micah 4, there's going to be beautiful peace on earth, like you can't imagine. Hey, the heathen, they like that word utopia, right? You use that word if you like to, okay? Only thing is, you're not going to be perfect. You're still going to make some mistakes from time to time. And when you do, we're going to let you know. And there will be consequences. But you're going to get it because you already learned by that point. And once we whack you a little bit or whatever we got to do or choose to do, you're going to get back in line and it's going to be all good again. So if you want to use that word utopia, go ahead. Okay? But all of the earth, all of creation is waiting for the manifestation of the true sons of God, man. It's the Israelite men. It's not everybody. Everybody's a son of God. Well who ain't? Everybody. But no, it's the Israelite men. Through that lineage, starting with Adam, the son of God, all the way down through the chosen. Seth, all the way down. You can read about the lineage in Genesis and whatnot. All the way down through Noah, through Shem, through Arphaxad, Peleg, and all of them. I can't remember all their names. And down through Abraham's father's name was Terah, if my memory serves me correctly, to Abram, and then his name was changed to Abraham, which Abram means exalted father, Abba Ram, Abba father Ram, exalted, okay, and Abraham means father of a multitude, okay, and then to Isaac and Jacob, and once you get to Jacob, now it's everybody, okay. The 12 patriarchs came out of Jacob. All right. One more verse here before we go back. Verse 22. For we know that the whole creation, all of creation. Now don't confuse that with verses. Don't confuse that with verses 20 and 21, because that creature there in 20 and 21 is specifically talking about us, the sons of God. Okay? Because you got different manifestations, not different contexts or ways you can use this word creature. Okay? In the Greek. So 21 at 20 and 21 is talking about us. Okay? 19 rather, and 22 is talking about creation in general. And when you look at it that way, you understand that, then it makes sense. Otherwise, you're going to be scratching your head. For we know that the whole creation, and that word whole thrown in there, that makes it plain to see and easy to see. For we, dealing with the wind a little bit, bear with me. For we know that the whole creation groaneth. Everything's groaning, man. Okay? Nothing's at rest. Nothing's at rest. Nothing in creation is at rest. Okay? For we know that the whole creation groaneth and travaileth in pain until now. Okay? And the reason why is because this earth and all of creation, actually it's not, it just starts with the earth, right? We're going to rule and we're going to dominate this universe, man, and whatever else our Father has in store for us. I have not seen nor ear heard, neither has it entered into the heart of man what the Most High has prepared for them that love him and call according to his purposes. So whatever our Father has for us is, I mean, it's like it's so far above what we think or what we can imagine that it's not even worth forming your mouth to say the words. That's why I stopped. Okay? And so that's the point. The point is made. Let's go back over to Micah. Micah 4 and 3. And he shall judge among many people and rebuke strong nations afar off, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. So these nations are no longer ever again going to be manufacturing any weapons. All that energy, all those resources, all those finances are going to go into things that support agriculture and things that support enhancing life and their populations. Okay? It's going to be beautiful. Okay? Nation shall not lift up a sword against nation. Now, yeah, literal swords, yes. But this is really going into swords metaphorically, which includes literal swords, right? But it's really talking about swords metaphorically, which is weaponry point blank, period. Okay? Nations aren't going to lift up a weapon against another nation anymore. Neither shall they learn war anymore. Perfect, beautiful peace on earth for all eternity in the kingdom of heaven. Because that's what this is getting into. But in the last days, it shall come to pass that the mountain kingdom of the house of Yahweh. Well, what's the king? You said mountain's kingdom. Yes. What's the mountain of Yahweh? What do you think it is, man? It's his heritage, Israel. Us, Yasha'Allah, the Israelites. The top people, the top kingdom on the planet is going to be us, Israel. Because he's going to set us on top. Right? Shall be established in the top of the mountains, the top kingdom. And it shall be exalted above the hills. Yeah, the mountains that are below us, those are the heathen nations that are greater than the others. Not great with regards to us, okay? Because they ain't nothing compared to us. But I'm just telling you like it is. Okay, you don't like it, then, you don't like it, then, hey, we expect me to tell you, man. The truth is what it is, man. Okay? Okay? All right, so, but yeah, with respect to other nations, the mountains are the greater heathen nations. That would be like your, well, obviously the top mountain today would be Esau, Edom, okay? Ruling from America, Babylon the Great, all right? His kingdom worldwide, okay? But then you got some others like, I would say those Arab nations over there, those Ishmaelite nations over there, they would be mountains as well. I would say, let's go with Elam, East Indians, that would be a mountain. But, varying heights, heights of the pinnacles or the peaks, right? Okay? Even Esau, when he has his meetings at the United Nations, he calls it a G20 summit, G7 summit. So maybe Maybe those that make the G20 cut, maybe they would be mountains, and then those that are under the G20, they would be hills, because that's the lesser heathen nations. But what's a summit? A summit is a peak or a pinnacle, okay? The peak of the mountain, okay? And it shall be exalted above the hills, the lesser heathen nations, and people shall flow unto it. And it goes into all these things. And when you look at this, and then when you look at those Israelites that are in the land, everything that's here and other passages pertaining to the true Israelites being in the land of Israel, the exact opposite is the case right now with them. That's how you biblically know they're not the true people. As if do you really need to? I mean, yeah, get the scriptures, man. But I mean, look at them. Look at what they're engaged in. Look at what they're doing. Okay? You know, but of course, get the scriptures. Okay? All right? Because thy word have I hidden in my heart that I might not sin against thee, O Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. Right? And thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. So we need the word. Okay? So yeah, there's going to be beautiful peace on earth. And then let's get Ezekiel 39 real quick. Oh, about this third world war. Okay? Because you got all these people that want the world, they want the world to be rid of thermonuclear. They want the world to be rid of thermonuclear missiles. They want all the nuclear weapons gone. Is that ever going to happen? Well, I've already let the cat out of the bag, but the nuclear weapons are a little bit of a different case. The nuclear weapons are all going to be gotten rid of in a different fashion, and I'm going to read it to you right here in Jeremiah 50. Okay, because the world is going to be rid of all of its nuclear weapons. Jeremiah 50 and 14. Okay, this is folly, man. Okay, it seems like to me that's interrupting your ability to hear me well. So, hey, let me know if you can hear me all right over this folly here. One of you brothers on the comment board before I read this precept. Jeremiah 50 and 14. And shalom to the brother Angel Padilla 144. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shabbat Kodash Brakatah to you, Malak. Glad you could join us, Lord willing, you're edified. The water, Malakim, the water. Okay? But let's go ahead and get this here in Jeremiah. This is how all the nuclear weapons are going to be gotten rid of. Okay? A little bit different here. Okay? All the weapons that remain after the Third World War, once the Kingdom of Heaven is kicked off, we're going to round them all up and we're going to burn them. That's what we're reading about in Ezekiel. I'm going to read it to you again, and then we're going to go to Isaiah 14 and get whatever we can get there, because we're not going to go back to Ezekiel 39 until we're finished in Isaiah 14. So this is Jeremiah 50, and we're going to get just a few verses. Jeremiah 50, and let's get 12, 13, and 14, because I want to establish who this is talking about. This is not talking about ancient Babylon. Nothing in these verses fits ancient Babylon. Okay? And furthermore, it's referred to, when you get it line upon line, as the daughter of Babylon. When you see daughter of, that's letting you know right there that that's talking about in this time. Okay? Let's get 12. Your mother, I mean, really I want to start up higher, but Chaldea, modern day Chaldeans is Americans, Babylon the Great. Okay? But let's start at 12. Your mother, all right, so she's got a mother, whoever that is, shall be sore confounded. She that bare you shall be ashamed. Oh, so whoever Babylon is, whoever these Chaldeans are, somebody bore them, and they're going to be ashamed of it. Okay? Behold, the hindermost. Hindermost. What's that mean? That means like at the back. That means like at the end, the last. Yes, yes. But furthermore, when you get the word in the Hebrew, it also has there's one of the meanings. Matter of fact, it's the second meaning. It's got like 4 or 5 meanings or whatever it is. The number 2 meaning goes into latter times, end times, last days. It's actually the meaning. It's actually been translated to latter. Okay? Okay? So when it says here, the hindermost of the nations, that's talking about America, Babylon the Great. I told you, just this year, they're celebrating 250 years. Well, look at all these other nations. All these other nations that have been around since, much longer than that. Centuries longer than that. Some are millennia longer than that. The hindermost nation is America. 250 years old. It's a baby. Okay? Matter of fact, the Persians of Ezekiel 38, which is the same as the Carmanians of 2nd Ezra 15, which is modern day Iran, the Iranians, that's who it's talking about in both of those cases. They was getting indignant against America, Babylon the Great, because DJ Trump, wicked Trump, was basically threatening to end their civilization. He was threatening to end the Persians, to end the Carmanians, to end Iran. And they're like, wait a minute, you a baby in diapers. You only been around 250 fucking years. We've been around thousands of years. And you talking about ending our salvation, ending our civilization? And they got indignant over it, man. They was like, what you talking about? You're not even out of diapers yet. What's 250 years? We've been here thousands of years. And what you talking about, you gonna end our civilization? They got mad about it. I understand that. I would get mad about it too. Okay? So my point is, the hindmost of the nations is America, Babylon the Great. What about this mother, though? You should be able to figure that out now. Okay? 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 Your mother, well, come on, man. Well, America, Babylon the Great came out of the 7, right? Right? Which is Greece, Rome, Germania Major, Germania Minor, the French, the Spanish, the British, and out of the 7 comes the 8th, and that's America, Babylon the Great. But which one bore America most directly? Well, that would be the United Kingdom. The United Kingdom, man. Okay, the War of Independence was fought against the United Kingdom. All right, so this mother that is talking about here is the UK. Okay, the UK, okay? Right, sorry, a little slow on that one. Right? Okay, this is America, Babylon the Great, man. The hindmost of the nations shall be a wilderness. I already told you that. Complete and total utter destruction of America, Babylon the Great, and the land of Israel. Hey, some of these other places are going to get peppered too. They're going to get peppered as well. But only America, Babylon the Great, and the land of Israel are going to be completely and totally swept with the beast of destruction, which is the thermonuclear destruction, which is the second death. All right? The hindmost of the nations shall be a wilderness, a dry land, after the fire eventually goes out. It's going to take a long time, though. Isaiah 13, Isaiah 34, Revelation 18. Okay? Where was I? The hindmost of the nations shall be a wilderness, a dry land, and a desert. I can't say that any more plain. Okay? Because of the wrath of Yahweh, the Heavenly Father always tells you why he fucking you up, man. He always tells you why. You know, he ain't gonna let you be done. Why you know I don't deserve this? No, you know you gonna know you deserve it. Okay? Because of the wrath of Yahweh, it shall not be inhabited, but it shall be wholly desolate. Wholly desolate. Okay? That's why we had to go to the Ezekiel 35. That's what Ezekiel 35 is talking about. But it's not just America, Babylon the Great. It's all of Esau, Edom, that high mountain that's in the earth right now. The high kingdom in the earth right now. The kingdom of Esau, Edom. But the pinnacle of his mountain is America, Babylon the Great. This is the capital city of his worldwide empire. This is the new Rome. And they told you that. Weren't you listening? What was it, 2, 3, 4 months ago, whatever it was, they had this fad that was sweeping social media, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and all of the social media, where you had celebrities, you had what's his name? Played Aquaman. I can't remember his name right now. I see his face. I can't remember his name. He played Aquaman in the DC universe, and then you had other celebrities doing it as well. And then you had regular people, and they was just flooding social media for like 2, 3, 4 weeks, something like that, maybe a month. They were flooding social media with all these little short videos about women and other people just saying how their husbands or they themselves, all they could ever think about is Rome, Rome, Rome. They just they're just infatuated with Rome. Why did they do that? They were telling you right there, we're Rome. And again, Mike Pompeo was over in Israel, and Benjamin not a Jew, was standing right there, and he was speaking at the podium, and Mike Pompeo was standing right next to him, and he was talking serious to him, and he was talking with the audience, and the tone was lighthearted, but because it was more pleasantly lighthearted as opposed to jokingly lighthearted. So it was serious, but it was a pleasant conversation or pleasant talk he was giving, and he was saying, as Mike Pompeo was standing right next to him, he was saying how, of course he's lying because they're not us. He's talking as if they're us, but they're not us. They're actually Edom. The same people that Mike Pompeo goes back to Benjamin, not a Jew, goes back to them too. They're Amalek. They're the top Edomites. But he was speaking as if they're us, and he was saying how like they and Rome have had their run-ins, and he was talking about us getting sacked by Rome back in 70 AD. He was talking about Rome getting the. He was talking about Rome besieging us, you know, which led to us fleeing from Jerusalem back in 70 AD, and a lot of our people fled down into the interiors of Africa, where we became refugees. We were refugees in the land of Ham, all right, and that's why they rounded us up off of the west coast of Africa, because we have been in Africa since 70 AD when we fled from the Roman persecution. So speaking as us, he was saying how Rome and them have had their run-ins, but now they have an agreement. They have a good working relationship. And he's talking about America's government right in front of Mike Pompeo, but he's not calling them America. He's calling them Rome. And Mike Pompeo is just sitting there smiling, nodding his head like, yep. Everything he's saying about Rome, but he's directing it to Mike Pompeo, who's representing the U.S. government, and he's just nodding his head. Yep. But he never says America. He always says Rome. This is Rome 2.0, which is America, Babylon the Great. They know that, and they told you that. Why weren't you listening? Okay? Because of the wrath of Yahweh, it shall not be inhabited, but it shall be wholly desolate. Everyone that goeth by Babylon, that's America, shall be astonished and hiss at all her plagues. Right. Okay? The Most High is getting ready to replace his monument of wickedness, which was Sodom and Gomorrah. He's going to replace it with a new one that is more suitable for all of eternity, which is America, Babylon the Great. Well, it will be when he gets finished with it. Put yourselves in array against Babylon, America. Against her, not for her. Who's he talking to? Well, go to Jeremiah 49, and it says the same thing as Obadiah, the first verse. An ambassador is sent among the heathen. Which ones? All of them. To do what? Rise ye up against her in battle. That's what. Okay? Put yourselves in array against Babylon round about. Okay, look at that. Everything's spiritual. Put yourself, what did I say? Put yourselves in array against Babylon round about. Beep, right there. Right on time. Yahweh Baal Shemal Shah, the book of Job says, speaks once, yea, twice, yet man perceiveth not. And not. No, okay. All ye that bend the bow. That's metaphoric speak for all that have thermonuclear missile capability. Every nation that has thermonuclear missile capability, that's meaning you have launch platforms for thermonuclear missiles. Get it ready. That's bending the bow. The bow is the launch platforms. Whether it be the land-based, the mobile, or whether it be submarines or some other platform. That's the bow. And what are you going to do once you get it ready? Once you bend that bow, what you going to do? Shoot at her. Shoot at America, Babylon the Great, the daughter of the United Kingdom. The mother that bore her, the United Kingdom, bore America, Babylon the Great. Shoot at her, Babylon the Great. Spare no arrows. What does spare no arrows mean? Don't leave any behind. Shoot every last arrow. These arrows is talking about the arrows which begin to get shot from the ends of the earth. This is not literal arrows. These arrows, even Esau had a movie a while ago. It was a couple decades ago now, but it was called Broken Arrow. I think it was called Broken Arrow. Might have been. I think it was Broken Arrow. Yeah. It starred like Nicolas Cage, I want to say, and it was all about a missing nuclear weapon. I mean, that's making it plain for you, ain't it? Okay? Broken Arrow. Okay? These arrows are the thermonuclear missiles, man. Shoot at her, spare no arrows. So all the thermonuclear missiles are going to be fired, and they're all going to hit their targets. The majority, the vast majority, pursuant to Revelation the 9th chapter, 200 million of them are going to land here. This is the warheads, okay? And there's going to be who knows how many warheads on each missile. They're not going to tell you how many. They're not going to tell you how many missiles they have. They're not going to tell you. Whatever they're telling you is grossly understated. Don't be so gullible. Okay? They're not going to tell you how many missiles they have. They're not going to tell you how many warheads they have. They're not going to tell you how many warheads each missile will carry. But we know there's going to be 200 million of them shot to America, Babylon the Great. The water, brother. The water. Yeah, I thought so. Okay? They're going to be shot 200 million of them, Revelation the 9th chapter, to America, Babylon the Great. And like I said, you ain't gonna take nowhere near that many to cleanse the land of Israel. However many shot over there, 100, couple hundred, few hundred. Okay, I don't see it being more than 1,000, just not necessary. Okay, but whatever it is, some much smaller number shot there, and then you're gonna have other lands where Esau, Edom is at, because pursuant to Matthew 25 and I want to say 41, this thermonuclear destruction, this second death, is prepared for the devil, which that's talking about the Edomites. Okay, I'm not going to break that down every time, man. Look up the word. It's talking about the devil and his angels, meaning his messengers, those that are on his side, those that are working for him. Okay, the word angel and messengers are synonymous. It's the same word, actually, not synonymous. It's the same word. All right, and it's not always talking about spiritual beings, and in that context, it's not. Okay, so that's how the thermonuclear missiles, the thermonuclear warheads, are going to be destroyed, right? But then all the other weapons that they have, okay, once we finish Esau, Edom, and his continuity of governments, and you know, all the military might that he reserves for himself after that rainy day of where it's going to rain thermonuclear warheads from the sky, okay, everything that he's got to come back out with later on and reestablish his authority that's why he's so asphyxiated on the phoenix, which rises from the ashes. And that's what he thinks he's going to do. He thinks he's going to rise from the ashes of the thermonuclear destruction and reestablish his authority, right? Okay? But what we're going to do is we're going to, once we've dealt with them, we're going to round up all their weapons that remain, okay? And we're going to burn it all, which takes us to Ezekiel, the 39th chapter, which is the chapter that we're breaking down, Ezekiel 39. We're breaking down at 39. We're in verses 9 and 10, which I'm going to read to you now. With that has sent us over to Isaiah 14. We're going to go there, and with the time that remains, we're going to get what we can get. Ezekiel 39. Okay? 9 and 10. We've already got 1 through 8. 9 and 10. And they that dwell in the city of Israel, which is talking about us. But we're not going to be in these bodies at this time. This is in the kingdom of heaven. This mortal, which you see me in right now, I will have dropped that and put on immortality, as the Apostle Paul puts it. This corruptible that you see me in now, I will have dropped that and put on the incorruptible. Okay? 1 John 3, 1 and 2. When we see him, Yahweh Shah Mashiach, we shall be like him. We're going to be like him. And what's that like? Well, Zechariah 12 and 8 tells you. Okay? We're going to be as God. When you go into it, Alahayim. Okay? All right? The house of David, which the house of David is talking about the 144,000 you read about in Revelation the 14th chapter, and also Revelation the 7th chapter. That's the house of David, which are the prophets. Okay? We're going to be like the Alahayim, like Yahweh Shai, and Yahweh Shai is like the Most High. Zechariah 12 and 8. Okay? 1 John 3, 1 and 2. And that should make sense. Everybody in their own order, you know, varying degrees of power and all that, but power like that. Okay? And that should make sense because after all, we are the sons of God. That's what it literally means to say Israelite. I am an Israelite. I am a son of God. That's literally what it means. Yasha Allah. He prince power. Take out prince, put in son, take out power and put in God. He is the son of God. I am a son of God. I am a son of God. Okay? I'm one of the sons of God. That's what it literally means to be an Israelite man. And so it should make sense that we're going to have power like that in the kingdom of heaven. Okay? But not the heathen nations. Okay? Nothing. Ever. That's all part of the new covenant, which is only for the nation of Israel. And you say, well, no, it's for everybody. We're already under the new covenant. Look, man, please go read Hebrews the 8th chapter and find me something about the heathen nations in there. Read the passage and that the Apostle Paul was quoting in Jeremiah the 30th chapter and find me something about the heathen nations there. And if you think you do, now you're really starting to look ignorant because you err not knowing the scriptures because you didn't do what the Apostle Paul told Timothy to do, which is to study to show yourself approved, a workman that need not be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. You're wrongly dividing the word of truth because you ain't studied. Okay, so now, Ezekiel 39, 9 and 10. And they that dwell in the cities of Israel, that's us, shall go forth, but we're in our God King Salakia, I forgot a word. Salak means forgive, Yah means me, right? Salakia, forgive me. I forgot a word. Forgive me, I forgot a word. We will be at this time in our immortal God King estate. That's what we're created for, actually. Okay? And they that dwell in the city of Israel shall go forth and shall set on fire and burn the weapons. We're going to burn all the weapons that the heathen nations have left over. They will have no more weapons ever again. That was the Micah 4, the Isaiah 2. This is how the last weapons they have, this is how they're rid of. We get rid of them. We're going to burn them all. Okay? We're going to take all that. Once we finish them off, there ain't no more fight left in them. Okay? I mean, if they got fight left in them, then we're going to fight them. If you want to fight, we're going to fight. Okay? But they're going to be fighting against immortal God kings. There's nothing they can do. They got some damn powerful weapons. Stuff that you would think is science fiction. Okay? If they come at us again, they come at us with that and these bodies, I mean, it's a wrap, man. Let's just dig graves and jump in it, right? Okay? There's nothing we could do. Right? But in our immortal God king estate, it swings the other way. There's nothing they can do. Okay? You want more weapons? How many weapons would you like? You want to increase the power of you? Okay, run it up as much as you like, and we're gonna crush them, and we're gonna stomp them, and we're gonna enjoy it. We're gonna have fun doing it. And when we're done, once they're done, then we'll be done, and then we're gonna round up what weapons remains, and this is what we're gonna do. And they that dwell in the city of Israel shall go forth and shall set on fire and burn the weapons with our spiritual power as immortal God kings. Okay, we're going to burn up all the weapons, and they're never going to have weapons again. Beautiful peace will be established on earth under the people of peace, the people of Jerusalem, the city of peace. And they shall, both the shields and the bucklers, the bows and the arrows, and the handsaves and the spears, and they shall burn them with fire 7 years, right? So that they shall take no wood out of the field, neither cut down any out of the forest, for they shall burn the weapons with fire. Okay? No more weaponry. So there's not going to be a World War IV. Okay? There will be no more weapons ever again that the heathen nations will have. And they're never going to fight again. There's going to be beautiful peace on earth for all eternity under the Prince of Peace, which is Yahushua, who is the top king in the nation of Israel. All right? Okay? In Jerusalem, the city of peace. And we are the people of peace. Okay? Let's see here. The brother put. Okay? Core. Okay, I might have to check that out then, brother. The water for the how you doing? I might have to check that out then. All right, core. Okay. All right. I'm putting it in my mental Rolodex right now. I'll check it out. Let me see here. Yeah. Let's check that out, brothers. All right, core. Let me see what Esau he let a little bit of something out, right? But he won't necessarily put you on notice and say, hey, all right, listen up, pay attention. I'm going to tell you a little something right here. He just does it, okay? And it's up to you to catch it, okay, if you're paying attention, all right? Let's see here. And they shall spoil those that spoil them. Well, who spoiled us? Well, that would be all the heathen nations. So what we going to do then? We're going to let bygones be bygones. We're going to turn the other cheek, okay? And they shall spoil them, those that spoil them. Now, we're going to spoil the fuck out of these heathen nations, okay? And rob those that rob them. Now, we're going to rob the fuck out of them. We're just talking about the same thing. It ain't talking about, like, stick them up, you know? It's talking about we're going to take them and everything they got. We're going to plunder them. We're going to beat them down with that rod of iron, and we're going to plunder them. That's what it's talking about. That ain't right. That's wicked. Wait a minute. I didn't finish the verse. Saith the Lord Yahweh. Now, our father, he's the one that said we're going to do this. We do this or we in disobedience. What you expect me to do? Disobey my father? Okay, I don't want to. Now, this is righteous. This is in perfect righteousness. Let me read it to you again. Saith the Lord Yahweh. It says God in all caps, but that's where his name is. Okay? So, this is in perfect righteousness in the kingdom of heaven, man. See? See, people don't understand this book, man. This is what's truly in the scriptures. Yep. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. And that word devices goes into, I forget which word that is, but it's going to go into his tactics and his methodologies and things like that. And that goes into a lot of different things, okay? The way that he moves and operates amongst us and here on this earth, trying to trip us up, setting snares and traps and whatnot, and also what he's ultimately planning to do. Okay, so that's covering a wide field there. Okay, and we're to be watchful and vigilant, because our adversary, the devil, goeth about as a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. Okay, all right. So of course that has spiritual applications as well. The spiritual demon Satan, But it also talks about Esau Edom, which is his physical counterpart here on this earth. Just like we're the physical counterpart of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, the biblical Edomites, they are the physical counterpart of Hashatan, the spiritual demon Satan. And that's why sometimes in the scriptures, they're referred to as Satan. Look the word up again, and you'll see that sometimes the word Satan is talking about a Satan-like man, which is Esau Edom. Okay? So sometimes you think it's talking about Satan, like in Revelation, the 20th chapter. It ain't talking about Satan, man. It's talking about his physical counterpart, which is the Edomites, the bloodline descendants of Esau. Okay, which is the so-called white man, generally speaking, because it's ultimately truly about bloodlines, not skin color. But again, that is the way our Father Yahweh has set it up for them to look, pursuant to Genesis 25 and 25, which you can link up again with Isaiah 1 and 18. That's why he made him that way, which you can link up with 2 Thessalonians 2 and 3. He's the man of sin, talking about Esau. But wait a minute, don't forget, Esau is a whole nation, Genesis the 25th chapter, right? So Esau is that man, but it's not just talking about him, it's talking about the nation, which is him. Thus dwelt Esau in Mount Seir. Esau equals is Edom. Through thy precepts I get understanding. What? Through thy precepts. Look at that. That means you get a scripture here, you get a scripture there, you get a scripture here, you get a scripture there, and you put it all together. Spiritual things to spiritual things. Comparing spiritual things to spiritual things. Okay? And that's how you get the understanding. Through thy precepts I hate every false way. Otherwise, you're going to love falsehood. And that's why I'm giving you the precepts. So you put it with the Isaiah 1 and 18. You put that with the 2 Thessalonians 2 and 3. Put that with the Revelation 6 and 4. And don't forget the Genesis 4. Because that's the mark, okay, that he put on Cain. Oh, which brings in reincarnation again. But that should be no problem. Because if you watch the beginning of the lesson, I already touched on that. Because Yahweh Shai told the disciples that John the Baptist was Elijah the prophet coming back in the reincarnation. Reincarnation is biblical. Matthew 11 chapter, Matthew 11, 13, 14, and 15. And when he said which was for to come, he was talking about Malachi the 4th chapter and the 5th verse. We already covered all that. Okay? So now, one more time. So that they shall take no wood out of the field, neither cut down any out of the forest, for they shall burn the weapons with fire, and they shall spoil those that spoil them. That means we're going to spoil all the heathen nations. That's not right. And rob those that rob them. That's sinful. Saith Ha'adwan Yahweh. You better slow your tongue. Okay? You better pay attention to Sirach, Ecclesiastes. You better pay attention to Ecclesiastes. What was that, the 5th chapter? Let me go there for you. Let me help you out. Okay? You better, hey, slow to speak, quick to hear. Slow to speak, quick to hear. Okay? Ecclesiastes, and you better do this. I think it's 5. Okay? Keep thy foot when thou goest to the house of the Most High. The Most High dwelleth not in temples made with hands. Okay? You come up on any of the hopeful elect men of the Lord, preaching this gospel of the kingdom, which you hear me preaching now, you're in the house of the Most High. Okay? And be more ready to run your mouth. Hear, listen, shut your mouth. Hear, listen, than to give the sacrifice of fools. Meaning you start running your mouth and you don't know what you're talking about. And oh, oops, damn it. You didn't blaspheme the Most High. You didn't blaspheme the truth. You didn't blaspheme one of the sons of God. Which, you know, hey, we out here as sheep amongst wolves. So, we get a little testy sometimes, but really it's about this truth, man. It's about don't blaspheme my Father. Don't blaspheme the only begotten Son. Don't blaspheme this truth, right? But oops, you already did it. Be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools, for they consider not that they do evil. It never even enters your mind that you are messing up in the worst way, Be not rash with thy mouth. Don't be quick to open your mouth and run your mouth. You see, people just don't understand. They don't listen, man. And let not thy heart be hasty to utter anything before this little scrawny looking dude right here. Well, I gotta be concerned. No, not about me, man. Don't be hasty to utter anything before the Most High. See, you carnal, and that's why you just looking at me or one of the other brothers, and you looking at how we dress, you looking at how we talk, you looking at like, well, ain't nobody listening to you, right? And you just see me or a few brothers or whatever, and you would quickly sum us up. You're like, oh, they ain't shit. I ain't gotta regard them. And you're not considering that you actually talking to representatives of the Most High. We're not out here on our own. We're not out here of our own accord, on our own back. We're not speaking our own words. So when you open your mouth and you run your mouth, you're actually uttering these words before the Most High. Be not rash with thy mouth, and let not thy heart be hasty to utter anything before the Most High. For the Most High is in heaven, and thou upon earth. Therefore, let thy words be few. Right? But people don't, people are going to do what they do. Right? So let me see here. So that Ezekiel 39, verses 9 and 10, that sends us to Isaiah 14, which is where we're at. We started at verse 1. Okay? We started at verse 1, which is getting into how our Father Yahweh is always, he always has, and he always will be choosing us. And he's going to deliver us and have mercy on us. There's nothing about mercy for the heathen nations here. The heathen nations are not even mentioned in verse 1 at all. Okay? Both groups of people in verse 1. Let me get the chapter. Very few people understand how to break down Isaiah 14, 1 and 2. The whole chapter for that matter, right? But it's clear when he says, for Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob and will yet, that yet means perpetually, over and over and over and over and over, and never not choose Israel. Okay, which is the same thing as Jacob. Okay, and will set them in their own land. Right. Again, the reason why the land of Israel is going to be completely and totally and utterly destroyed by thermonuclear fire is because our Father Yahweh is cleansing that land with the besom of destruction, which is the thermonuclear fire, so that he can put us back into that land. Because that land is his favorite land, pursuant to 2nd Ezra, the 5th chapter. Right? And that his favorite land is for his favorite people. Deuteronomy 7:6. Deuteronomy 26, 18 and 19, and many other passages. Okay? It's for his favorite people. We are his heritage. What's that? Jeremiah 51 and 19? Yep. Okay? And if you're of the heathen nations, then like I was telling you, we're going to beat down the heathen nations. That's the first thing we want to do when we come down is beat down the heathen nations, okay, and their continuity of governments. You want to read about that. Jeremiah 15, I said 15. Jeremiah 51, I told you about the 19, we're his heritage, right? Get those verses right after that. 20, 21, 22, 23. Oh man, it's whoop, whoop, whoop. Okay? Just understand that when Ezekiel saw that, when he saw, I meant Jeremiah. When Jeremiah saw that that end-time prophetic vision, he didn't know what to call the modern warfare. So he called it according to, ancient terminology, okay? Chariots and whatnot, and shields and bucklers and all that, and the horse and his rider and all that. He didn't know what to call it, right? He was seeing all the equipment, the modern equipment of warfare today, offensive and defensive, light armored vehicles, tanks, fighter jets and whatnot, but he didn't know what to call it. So he used terminology that he was familiar with that was associated with ancient times. But that's what you can read about what I told you about when we come back down off of the chariots in our immortal God King estate, and we're gonna go and we're gonna deal with the heathen nations, starting with Esau, Edom, and we're gonna let them know what we think about their continuity of government. And you can read about it there. A whole lot of breaking in pieces. I told you that though, right? So don't be surprised when you read it. But that's what you can read about that. Isaiah 14. Oh yeah, that's right. I was getting ready to show you something here. Right. For Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel. I think I was going to get something else, but it slipped my mind now. And set them in their own land. Right, that's what I was talking about. Yeah, the reason why our Father Yahweh is sweeping the land of Israel with the besom of destruction is a whole different reason about why he's destroying America, Babylon the Great. He's destroying that land because right now it is polluted greatly with the biblical Edomites, the worst of the biblical Edomites, which is Amalek. Okay, they're the worst Edomites, a filthy, vile, disgusting, abominable people they are. Over there in our Father Yahweh's holy land, Ezekiel 36, 2 and 5. Get the whole passage though, right? Appointing our Father's favorite land into their possession with the joy of all their heart, identified down in verse 5 as Idumea, but really it's talking about the top Edomites, because that's how you say, Idumea is how you say Edom in Greek, okay? I think I forgot to give you the precept, Genesis 36 and 8. Thus dwelt Esau in Mount Seir. Esau is Edom. Okay? Right? But you got the most vile, abominable people on the planet over there in that land, and they're doing all manner of filthiness, all manner of abomination, all manner of wickedness and vile activities over there in the Holy Land. And our Father Yahweh is going to cleanse the land of all their wickedness, all their vileness, all their abominations, and them in preparation for putting us back in the land. And that's part of what we were reading about in the first 15 verses of Ezekiel 36. Once you got done with it talking about our Father dealing with them for taking and appointing his holy land into their possession. Okay, down like verses 7, 8, and on down to the balance until you get to 15 is about us getting put back in that land in the kingdom of heaven, and that land being blessed again and fruitful again. Okay, so we're getting put back in our land because that land is for us. Holy favorite people, favorite land, put them together. Makes sense, doesn't it? Okay, and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land. Yeah, this is the land of Israel. We're exiles right now, and the strangers. Hey, these strangers are Israelites, okay? This is why most people don't understand, okay? But if you really study the scriptures, then you'll see that there's clear times when Israelites are referred to as strangers. So whenever you see this term strangers, you got to make sure you know strangers, same thing with foreigners, same thing with Gentiles, same thing with heathen. Any of those four terms. You got to make sure you know whether it's talking about the natural born, not Israelites, or whether it's talking about Israelites that are being referred to by those names. Those labels, most commonly, but not necessarily, because they are in a foreign, strange, heathen, Gentile state of mind, and therefore they're being referred to by those labels, by those labels or names or whatever, right? So you got to make sure you know which of the two it is. And here, these strangers are Israel, and the reason, and you say, well, how you do that? Could you take though? Well, just pay attention, man. Okay, and the strangers shall be joined with them, as a wife and a husband are joined and become one. And they shall cleave to the house of Jacob, as a husband cleaves to his wife. Okay? Does it make sense that natural born heathen can be joined to us and become as us? I'd like to say, yeah, but I mean, or would it make much more sense if these strangers are actually Israelites, and that's why they can be joined to us, and that's why they can cleave to us, because they are us? You know which one makes more sense, and that's because it's true. But you want to see something about the natural born heathen, right? Okay, well that's verse 2. Okay, here the natural born heathen in verse 2, and this also shows you the dichotomy. You can't have heathen in verse 1 and then heathen in verse 2 as well. Okay, I mean, you know, it's contradictory, man. Okay, and you on real thin ice, and you look, and you really reaching, man, and that limb's starting to crack. Okay, really, the limb's already cracked. Okay, but here's the natural born heathen in verse 2, and the people, yes, that's the natural born heathen, shall take them. The them refers to the strangers of verse 1, and bring them, again, the strangers of verse 1, to their place, to the land of Israel. You can read about this in Isaiah 60. Yeah, I think it's Isaiah 60. And the house of Israel, yeah, the strangers that they bring in there, shall possess them. What does possess mean? Own, keep. Yeah, you now belong to me. Possession, and it means exactly what we just read in Jeremiah. And they shall rob them that rob them, and spoil them that spoil them. I mean, I said Jeremiah. I keep getting Jeremiah and Ezekiel mixed up. Ezekiel 39 and 10. Let's take it from the top. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place. The people is the natural born heathen. The thems is the strangers of verse 1, which are Israelites. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of Yahweh, the land of Israel, for servants. That's a nice word for slaves. All right, and handmaids. That's the women of the various different heathen nations, which we will have concubines as much as we want. And they shall take them captives, slaves. That's the people whose captives they were. Yeah, they robbed us, we're going to rob them. They spoiled us, we're going to spoil them. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh. I read it to you. It's not my words. I didn't think of it. The Most High said so. And it's right here too. Again, let everything be confirmed by the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses. We got Isaiah and we got Ezekiel. I don't know. Can we trust Isaiah and Ezekiel? I don't know. They like shady or something, right? Look, man, it's all throughout the scriptures. Revelation 13, 9 and 10. What about John? John on the Isle of Patmos. Can you trust him? He's shady too. Okay? It's all throughout the scriptures, man. And they shall take them captives whose captives they were. That's plain, isn't it? And they shall rule over their oppressors. But you're going to be nice though, right? Well, let's see what Yahushua said. Revelation 2, 26 to 27. If Yahushua says we're going to be nice, well, we will be nice. I'm having fun, right? But we will be kind to them after the first 1,000 years. But not until then. Let's read Revelation 2, 26 and 27. Okay? let's see what Yahushua said. And he that overcometh, only ones that's going to overcome is the elect men of the Lord, Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushua, the elect men of the nation of Israel, which is the prophets and the friends of the prophets. Okay? And he that overcometh and keepeth my works until the end, to him will I give power over the nations. Yeah, I heard that. I already got that part. You gave me Isaiah and you gave me, what was that, Jeremiah? Ezekiel? Whatever. Yeah, I got that, man. But what about the nice part, though? And he shall rule them with a rod of iron. That is a symbolic, we probably will have literal rods of iron, man. But that's a symbolic way of saying we're going, well, I ain't got to tell you. Yahushua is going to explain it. As the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers, even as I receive of my Father. And he's talking about the second psalm. It says the same thing there. Psalms 2. Okay, the whole psalm. It's going into how our Father is going to laugh at these heathen nations, man. Why do the heathen rage? All this raging amongst the heathen right now. What they going to do, what they not going to do, who's going to be on top? No, we're going to be over you, you're going to be under us. No, that's amongst themselves. They all agree. Go to the 83rd Psalm. They all agree that the Israelites, that's us, is under their boot. They all agree we at the bottom, but amongst themselves, they fighting amongst themselves, right? That's all this bustling and hustling and fighting and warring going on now. Why did the heathen rage? And imagine a vain thing. But Yahweh will laugh at them. He's laughing at you. Our Father's laughing at you, heathen nations, man. And vex them in his sore displeasure. Okay? What do you think he was talking about? Okay? He's about to show the whole world what he's talking about right now, because we're in the time of him doing it now. Now. Okay? And he's going to set us up on top. We got that in Micah 4. Okay? Okay? This book is not to be played with, man. Okay? It will run all up on you, and you will have no clue that it's about to stomp up and down on you until it and then it'll start stomping up and down on you, and then you'll be taking you a second to realize that this is all end-time biblical prophecy stomping the living daylights out of you, and then you get it. Oh, everything's according with this book right here. Right. But up until then, you'll be like, oh, there ain't nothing, I don't believe that. Or that's your interpretation, right? But then it's going to be stomping up and down on you. And you'll realize it then. All right? Everything that's taking place on planet Earth is in accordance with the script. Scriptures. Okay? Back into Isaiah. All right? So that's what Isaiah 14, 1 and 2 is talking about. I ran through it real quick. Okay, let's get down to where we're at. I already covered that. I got 1 through 8. Now we're in 9, and that's right, brother. That's the Psalm 83. That's right. Now we're in verse 9, but we got to get 6 and 7 and 8. And I don't know how much time we're going to have. I think we're going to try to crack open 9. It's a lot in Isaiah 14. This chapter here is chock-a-block full, man. Okay? But let's get, because this verses 7 and 8 gets into the beautiful and wonderful peace that is going to be on earth for all eternity in the kingdom of heaven. And then it hits on it again, and hits on it again, and hits on it again. Down in like verse, what's that? Yeah, I mean, 18? Yes, 18 is the last place where it hits on it. But whenever it hits on how there's going to be beautiful peace on earth, you'll see that it's always contrasted with one particular people who are going to get continually and totally and then ultimately fucked up completely. It's always beautiful peace on earth for all the heathen, but you, not you. And then peace on earth, but you, hey, never renown. Oh, beautiful peace on earth, the heathen, everybody's under the fig tree enjoying themselves, but you're going to be a prepared slaughter for his children. You'll see there's always that juxtaposition because the man that's controlling the earth right now, that's causing all this in the earth right now, that's doing all this wickedness in the earth right now, he's not going to get to enjoy that. What's going to happen to him? Where are you going to be at? Well, it tells you right down there. I'll end with that, okay? Okay, I'll end with that. Okay. This is you watching a movie and people watch the movie. Oh, it's a good movie, but hey, you gotta watch to the end because at the end it's a complete plot twist or what they call it. I forget the term. Not a plot twist because the movie's over then. It's something happens that completely turns the whole movie around or something like that, and it happens right at the end. Yeah, that's what this is like with them. Okay, because they're not going to get to enjoy that peace. They're the exception to the rule. Every nation has to pay for the controversy of Zion. Isaiah 34:8. Okay, that word controversy is in the scriptures. Controversy of Zion. The Most High has a controversy with the nations. I can never remember which specific verse in Jeremiah 25 that is, but so let me get it real quick. Jeremiah 25. Isaiah 34:8, you'll see controversy there, talking about with the nations. Our Father Yahweh has a bone to pick with you heathen nations, you natural born heathen nations, okay? And he's picking it now. And ultimately, he's going to vex you in his sore displeasure, like it says in the second Psalm, okay? And it's because of the controversy of Zion, meaning what you've done to his sons and his daughters, which are the sons and the men and the women of the nation of Israel, okay? Which is us. Okay, what you've done to us, and you're all guilty. And our Father Yahweh has something to say to you about it. Okay? But then Jeremiah 25 is where he also uses that word, and it says he has a controversy with the nations. And the controversy is the controversy of Zion. Zechariah 2:8, Zechariah 1:14-15, Jeremiah 30:16, and Obadiah 15-16. There's only one chapter there. I already gave you the Revelation 2:26-27, Revelation 13:9-10. You got a second Ezra 6. Come on, man, Isaiah. I already gave you all the precepts. There's like a bunch more. I already gave them to you. Okay, Jeremiah 25. Okay, what do you think he just, the Most High just running it? He just what? Okay, Numbers 23:19. Go read that. He's not a man that he shall lie. Okay. All right. So this is Jeremiah 25, and this whole passage, man, this whole passage, especially starting at verse 15, and he makes it clear here that it's all the nations on the planet. He used that on the earth of the world. Okay, those phrases are used here. Okay, but I want to show you this. Okay, I wanted to find that word controversy. I can't remember which verse he uses it in. I think it's 33. Which one is it? Oh man, I'm having a hard time finding it. Am I in the right? Yeah, I'm in the right. Give me a second. I just want to find that for you. Ooh man. This is bloody. If you're a natural born heathen, you might want to sit down and get yourself a drink. Don't be standing up when you read this, man. This is bloody. Oh, there it is. 31. I found it. Verse 31. Hey, this is all bloody for you, you heathen, man. Okay? Yeah, that Isaiah 34. Isaiah 34:8, right? But this is Jeremiah 25:31. A noise shall come even to the ends of the earth. For, why? What's going on? For Yahweh. That is our Father's name. The world ignorantly and incorrectly calls him God. Okay? But the word God is Allah in the Hebrew, and it literally just simply means power or mighty one. Okay? His name is Yahweh. And sometimes you'll see God in all caps. That's his name. But they didn't want to put his name in here because as it says in the book of Malachi, the name of Yahweh is dreadful amongst the heathen. They don't mess with our Father's name. Oh, they'll use the false names like Yahweh and Jehovah and stuff like that. But our Father's true name, Yahweh, oh, they don't mess with his true name. Okay? The name of Yahweh is dreadful amongst the heathen, right? So they took his name out and put in Lord, all caps, God, all caps. And one place they put Jehovah, but there's no J. The letter J is a new letter made during the Renaissance. In the ancient Paleo Hebrew, there are no E's in the holy language, the Lashon Kodash. There are no O's in the holy language, the Lashon Kodash. There are no B's in the holy language, the Lashon Kodash. So how the hell can his name be Jehovah? And the letter J wasn't even around at all back then. Okay? So they'll use those names, and fine, go ahead and use those names. Those aren't real. But our Father's name, they don't mess with that. Jeremiah 25:31. All right? For Yahweh hath a controversy. When you see controversy, think bone to pick. Chip on his shoulder. The king of terrors is mad at y'all. And by mad, I mean wroth. I mean furious. Yeah. And again, for the controversy of Zion, for what y'all done to us. My bad. I always do that. Our Father Yahweh says so himself, for what you do yet this day to his chosen, which again is us. Okay? For Yahweh hath a controversy with the nations, with an S. Well, wait a minute. Why don't you say which ones? Because it's all of you. There's no need to specify. Oh, by the way, he's already specified in the other verses. All the kings of the earth. It's all of you. He will plead. The word there is Shabbat. Execute judgment. Punish with all flesh. Meaning all you heathen. He will give them that are wicked, that's you, and the Edomites on the highest level, to the sword, saith Yahweh. But the difference between you other heathen nations and the Edomites is that he doesn't hate you. He's very angry at you. He's wroth at you. He's furious with you, but he doesn't hate you. So he's going to fuck you up for what you're doing to us yet to this day, but then ultimately you're going to get some mercy. Edomites, he feels that way about them as well, but to the max, and he hates them. So when he's done fucking them up, well, we're going to end with that. I already told you. That's the, oh man, that was the ending that you never saw coming, right? Yeah, we'll end with that. You should already know. Okay? So, and that's what Isaiah's getting into. Yeah, controversy. That's right. Controversy. Yeah. Prince said that song. Our Father Yahweh has a controversy with all you heathen nations, man. Believe it. Dig it. Believe it. And ain't shit you can do about it, man. And yeah, it's like that. Okay? All right, our daddy's gonna deal with y'all. I'm happy about that. Okay? We expect me to go, oh damn. Oh, daddy's gonna fuck up the heathen nations. Oh. No. Oh, and part of that is he's gonna toss y'all to us when we have our power. When we're restored to our immortal God, King of State. We're gonna rule over you. And we're gonna bust you over the head with the rod iron. He said so. Daddy said bust you over the head with the rod iron, we're gonna bust you over the head with the rod iron. But don't worry, after 1,000 years, you're gonna be real good. Enjoying that beautiful peace on earth. As long as you're not an Edomite. Reminds me of that song. Am I an Edomite? Am I the heathen thou shalt smite? I ought to play that, man. I don't have it on my backup phone. They gotta eat. I actually think he's one of us. You brothers probably seen that clip. That Edomite looking dude singing that song. He does a good job singing it. He's singing with a little bit of soul. Makes me think he might be one of us looking like one of them. Okay? It's a funny song, man. It's like he actually sung that song. Anyway, I might play that for y'all if I remember to record it. Anyway, back over to Isaiah 14. Did I finish this? What I got this for? I don't know. I'm just speaking as a spirit. I'm just flowing, man. Let me get this Isaiah 14. I don't even remember what precepts I was going to get anymore. Back in Isaiah 14. I got to wrap it up. Okay? Verses 6. I want to start at 5, but 6. He who smote the people of... Hey, man, come on, man. How is the so-called white man ruling this world today? With justice? Oh, he got that word in his mouth, but not so much these days. Not so much these days, huh? There's a reason why these days he's like, well, fuck it. I'm the devil. I'm the villain of the movie. That's the spirit he's coming in these days. Well, fuck it. We ain't the Department of Defense anymore. Hey, let's just come on out with it. Just let it all hang out. So I bet you just kind of like do like that. Just let it all hang out. This is the Department of War now. We just gonna tell it like it is. That's what it's always been. But now we're gonna tell it like it is. right? Okay? How's he ruling the people? Okay? He's ruling the people in wickedness, man. Yeah, there you go. Just us, right? Not justice, just us. That's what he says. Okay? That's so he's the one, and it's not just here in America, Babylon the Great. It's around this world, man. He's the top man on the planet, and he's beating down everybody with his financial power, his sanctions. He's beating everybody down with these bombs and these wars, man. Okay? And slandering everybody. Okay? That's what it's talking about here. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke. This is Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, the bloodline descendants of Esau, the so-called white man, generally speaking. He that ruled the nations in anger. This is the so-called white man. Generally speaking, the bloodline descendants of Esau, that's who they are, even if they don't look like that. And some of them don't look like that. Is persecuted and none hindereth. Okay? Yea, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying, and by the way, what's the tree that's cut down the most? Okay, because this has a spiritual application as well, because nations and men are likened unto trees as well, right? But what's the tree that's cut down the most? Well, that would be the fir tree for the pagan celebration of Saturnalia. Oh, that's right, you call it Christmas today. Okay? Yeah, let's cover over our paganism with a thin veneer of the scriptures, and let's kind of like intertwine it with a few scriptural things, all right? And so the people will swallow it, and yeah, let's give it a new name, Christmas, the Saturnalia, okay? All right, and so they cutting down all these fir trees, man, okay? And what's this say here? Yea, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying, since thou art laid down, yeah, since the Edomites been taken out of power, no feller is come up against us. And then we get into verse 9. Hell, which is the grave. I'm not going to get into that. I'm out of time. I'm just going to give it to you. Let him who has ears to hear, or keep listening, keep watching, keep fasting, keep praying. Check out other lessons where I go into it in more detail. But here's a couple of quick precepts that I can't help myself. I got to give you these two precepts to help you to understand that what you've been told about what hell is in the scriptures every time you see it is a goddamn lie. It's a cleverly devised fable. It's a doctrine of devils. It's a doctrine of demons meant to pressure you into accepting paganism. Okay, that's why they have the thing called hellfire and brimstone preaching. Okay, hellfire and brimstone. You better accept this doctrine that I'm preaching to you and get on your hands and knees before this cross right here, which is an idol, and bow down and pray to Jesus and ask him to come into your heart and become a Christian, or else you're going to burn in hell for all eternity. The place doesn't exist. Okay. And how could it if reincarnation is biblical, which we've already proven with the scriptures? Okay? Okay? Hell is the grave. It's been translated Sheol in the Hebrew, and it's been translated to grave just as many times as it's been translated to hell. And it's a grave, whether literally the grave or metaphorically the grave. That's it. 1A, 1B. You want to call it 1 and 2, you can call it 1 and 2. 1A, 1B, because it's the grave either way. All right? You want an example of the literal grave? Go to Amos 9 and 2. Though they dig into hell, it says there. Though they climb into heaven. Can anybody literally dig into hell? Can anybody literally climb into heaven? Talking about the abode of the Most High and talking about this mythical place where you burn for all eternity? So you think it's talking about that? The heaven that it's talking about there, climbing into heaven, is talking about the atmosphere. Okay? That's what they do with their space stations and their satellites. But the space station, the ISS. Okay, climbing up in heaven. And they're going to be hiding up there. We're going to grab them out. I already gave you that. And the digging into hell, the hell is the ground, the earth, the grave, the earth, the ground. Okay? That's talking about digging in these deep underground military bunkers. Where are the deep underground military bunkers dug into? Into hell, the grave, the ground, the earth. Okay? And you want an example of the that's the literal hell, literal grave. You want the metaphoric? That would go to, for that you go to Jonah 2, verses 1 and 2, specifically the second verse, and that's your metaphoric grave. Okay? Out of the belly of hell. Was Jonah in some mythical place burning forever and ever and ever and ever? No. Where was he? In the fish's belly. And what did he call the fish's belly? Hell. Which is, again, the grave. But this time, metaphorically the grave. which is a very low and miserable condition. Okay, and you have levels to that. Some miserable conditions are worse than others, but varying degrees. However bad it is, that's the grave. Man, this isn't living. I'm in hell. Right. That's it. The grave. He's in a miserable condition. Okay. Okay. And so that's what hell is. I couldn't help myself. I gave you a little mini lesson there. Okay. And those two precepts, that's all you need. Once you understand that, all you gotta let me give you another one. Matthew 10:28. Fear not him who is able to destroy the body, but fear him who is able to destroy both soul and body in hell. Okay? So, okay, if there's this place where you literally burn it for all eternity, then how is your body there? Your body's here on the earth. Okay? But if that hell is talking about there is in accordance with the book of Ecclesiastes, and I saw under the sun the place of judgment, right? If that hell is a condition, metaphoric hell, metaphoric grave, played out here on the surface of the earth, well, now it makes sense because that's where the body and the soul are together. Your body and your soul are together right now on the surface of the earth. We're in hell right now. Okay? Well, you know, Esau, he in his heaven, right? But the thing is, he's so wicked, he takes and he puts most of his own people in hell too. He dominating over them. He making them miserable. He making them suffer too. Okay? So this is supposed to be their heaven, but it's actually their hell too. Because the elites, there is no honor amongst thieves. And that's why that Edomite was lamenting. He looked like an Edomite. He was lamenting how the elites that run this world, how they got so much they can never ever enjoy it all, but yet and still they're taking the very little that the poor have, which is us, him, he was including himself. They taking the very little that we have, and they even taking that because there is no honor amongst thieves. He don't give a damn about his people. That's Sirach, the 10th chapter. Okay, a wise king will instruct his people. What is this? Let me get that real quick. Sirach, the 10th chapter. And then, because of the sake of time, I've been flowing with the Spirit. I'm gonna just wrap there. I'm gonna get you that. I'm gonna close on that cliffhanger or that plot twist or whatever you want to call it, and I'm gonna have to wrap it. But let me get you this Sirach, because this is Esau Edom. Sirach, the 10th chapter, which is also called Ecclesiasticus. Okay. And you see, I'm getting this out of the King James Bible 1611, okay, right in the scriptures, because the Apocrypha has always been part of the holy inspired word of the Most High Yahweh, word of the Most High God. The Apocrypha is always in the Bible. And when they made this 1611, it was in here for 274 years. They only took it out 150 years ago. You should know, can't do that. Why did they put it in here? Because it's always been scripture. It's where it belongs. But not the books, but not the book of Enoch, not the book of Jasher, not the book of Jubilees or any of these other books, not them. Though there are some books that are mentioned in the scriptures, but we don't have the originals today. All right, you're going to get all twisted up if you're getting into those books. Those are not the original. The book of Enoch is not the original book of Enoch. Okay, and that's the reason why it actually has all kinds of madness in it, and it actually contradicts the 80 books that we do have here. It's not. Okay, and that can be a stumbling block, because once you understand that the Apocrypha is part of Scripture, and then you get like an app, like the King James Version Bible app with the Apocrypha, and it's always going to be asking, do you want the book of Enoch and Jubilees and Jasher? You just say no. Just say no, okay? Because those are not the original books. Okay, the books you need are the ones that's in the King James Version portion, and all together it's going to be 80 books. When you count it up, you're going to count up 81. But that's because the Apocrypha includes the additions to the book of Esther. Okay, it's not the book of Esther; it's the addition to the book of Esther. In other words, that's the rest of the book of Esther. Okay, the book of Esther in the 66 is incomplete, and that's why when you're reading it, it just kind of abruptly ends. It's like, wait a minute, I think the last chapter is only like 3 verses. It's like, where's the rest? Well, the rest is in the Apocrypha. So you don't count that when you're counting it up. You don't count that. If you count that, you're going to come up with 81, but that's actually the rest of Esther. Right? So it's 80 books. 80 books. So Sirach 10. Okay? And you're going to get Esau Edom here, who's the ruler of the planet right now. Sirach 10, Ecclesiasticus, a wise judge, ruler, will instruct his people, okay? And the government of a prudent man is well ordered. As the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. And that's because Esau Edom is the top man on the planet right now. And that's the reason why everybody that's participating in rulership underneath of him are all corrupt and wicked. And what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein. So when we, the righteous, are put on top, righteousness is going to prevail and reign on the earth. In verse 3, this is Esau Edom. An unwise king destroyeth his people. Esau Edom is the unwise king on the highest level. And that's all he does is destroy his people, even his own people. He destroys everyone and everything. That's why in Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter and the 5th verse, he is equated literally to death. And he's stated to be as hell. And he cannot be satisfied. He is the unwise king on the highest order. An unwise king destroyeth his people, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, he has no prudence. The city shall be inhabited. The power of the earth is in the hand of Yahweh, our Father. And in due time, that due time is about here. That due time, see, and when it's fully up, we're in that time. But you know, the end time biblical prophecies are all wrapping up right now. They're all wrapping up right now. And when it's finally done, that's time. In due time, what's he going to do? He will set over it, meaning the earth, one that is profitable. And that one is what? Manifold. That one has a duality to it. Let me explain it to you. Let me give you the clear understanding first. That one is the only begotten Son, Yahweh Shah HaMashiach. That's the top meaning. Okay? Yahweh Shah HaMashiach, the King of Kings, Lord of Lords. He is that one. Okay? He's going to be set up and established over the whole earth, all creation actually. So that's what this means on the highest level, first and foremost. But there is another meaning, which is also true under that one. Okay? And by the way, if you didn't understand it, the 2nd Psalm down there where it's talking about asking me and I shall give thee the heathen for thy inheritance, the same thing applies there. He's talking about Yahweh Shah Mashiach first and foremost, but he's also talking about the Alahayim, the elect men of the nation of Israel as well. Same thing. First and foremost Yahweh Shai, but also under that, the men of the nation of Israel. Okay? But let me show you that now. Okay? So everybody understands that one is Yahweh Shai, right? Okay? But then when we go over to, we can get 2nd Ezra 6:54 on down, but I'm going to show you, man, I'm wearing out. I'm wearing out this Isaiah here. That page is getting worn out from me holding it there, I guess, so much. Okay? Goodness gracious. Okay, but anyway, let me show you, what's it going to show you? Exodus. Exodus 4. Okay? I'm going to show you that one is also the whole nation of Israel. Starting with the Alahayim, the elect men of the Lord, and the friends of the prophets. Again, the Alahayim is the prophets. The 144,000 of Revelation 14. And the 12,000 out of each tribe that are sealed, which are the men that you see out on the highways and hedges preaching this gospel of the kingdom that you hear me preaching to you right now. Yahweh Razah be counted amongst that number. And I do hope, trust, and believe that I am. Okay? Okay? Exodus, the 4th chapter. And let's see what our Father Yahweh says about the whole nation of Israel. I know you wouldn't believe me if I told you. I wouldn't believe me if I told you either. But what about if our Father Yahweh says it himself? Exodus, the 4th chapter. Exodus 4 and 22 and 3. Might as well get the Revelation. Might as well get the 2nd Ezra 6. Okay? Exodus 4 and 22. And thou shalt say unto Pharaoh, thus saith Yahweh, Israel is my son. Even, for emphasis, even, in other words, my firstborn. So Yahweh, our Father Yahweh, calls the whole nation of Israel his son and his firstborn, as far as nations are concerned. Okay, so we see now that what we read over in Sirach, it has a duality to it. First and foremost, it's talking about the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, Yahweh Shah Mashiach, the only begotten Son. Not the only Son, the only begotten, meaning personally created by the Father. All the other sons, oh, he's got many innumerable, countless sons. Innumerable, countless sons. But only one was created by him directly. That's why he's the only begotten Son. If you take the word begotten out, now it's false. He's the only begotten Son. Okay, all other sons, they're sons too, but he didn't personally make them. Okay, all right. Israel is my firstborn, even my son, even my firstborn. I say unto thee, let my son, he's talking about the whole nation of Israel, go. This is our Father Yahweh's message to Pharaoh, king of Egypt. And he's saying that again now, but they ain't gonna let him. They ain't letting us go. Jeremiah 50 and 33. All that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go. Esau isn't letting us go from America, Babylon the Great, and neither is any of these heathen nations. They all agree on that. They fighting amongst themselves for who's going to be on top position in the Novus Ordo Seclorum. Okay, put that with the new. Don't forget the world, and let me get that order right there. Put all that together, right? They fight amongst themselves about who's going to be where, what's going to be the pecking order. But one thing they all agree on is, well, the Israelites at the bottom. Okay. Okay. And I say unto thee, let my son go, that he may serve me. He's talking about the whole nation. This is a message for Pharaoh. And if thou refuse to let him, Israel, that's us, go, behold, I will slay thy son, even thy firstborn. And we know he didn't, because our Father Yahweh hardened his heart. We know why in Revelation the 9th chapter, because he wanted to make his power known on Egypt, ancient Egypt, right? So the Most High didn't let Pharaoh do the only wise thing to do, which is let us go. Okay? Because Pharaoh wanted to let us go, but he couldn't, because the Most High hardened his heart. And it tells you that. And sometimes it says Pharaoh hardened his own heart, and then something you read a little bit. The next time it says that the Most High hardened his heart. You read the next one, it says Pharaoh hardened his heart. And you read again, it says the Most High hardened his heart. It's all the Most High hardening his heart. The heart of the king is in the hand of Yahweh. He turneth it whithersoever he will, as the course of the rivers, man. The Most High didn't let Pharaoh let us go, because he wanted to take Pharaoh all the way up the escalation ladder and then destroy him completely. And it tells you that in Romans the 9th chapter. Okay? And you know, I'm really out of time, but why not? Let's get 2nd Ezra, and then I'll wrap up with that Isaiah 14 real quick. 2nd Ezra 6. Just to finish that off, man. 2nd Ezra 6. Oh, when you come here, start at 54, but we're gonna get straight to the point. Let's get 57, 8, and 9. All right, man, I can't help myself, right? And now, O Adawan, O Lord, behold, these heathen. This is the prophet Ezra speaking. When you get to 66, his name is spelled Ezra, right? But when you get it in the Apocrypha, it's Ezra's, because the Old Testament was translated from Hebrew manuscripts, but the Apocrypha, which is also really technically Old Testament, was translated call halal Allah Yahweh Yahweh Shemal Shah. All glory, honor, and praise to our Father Yahweh Shemal Shah. Right? If the sheep are getting fed, Barakah Yahweh Shemal Shah. So let me see. What do you call it? The Apocrypha was translated from Latin manuscripts. So when you translate it from different manuscripts, they translate the names a little different. And the New Testament was translated from Greek manuscripts. That's the reason why. Noe is Noah, right? So just understand that this is the same same prophet Ezra in the 66, but it's Ezra's here. Same man, same prophet, same life. You know, maybe it's a different life. No, same life. Okay. Where was I? 2nd Ezra 6 and 57. And now, O Adawan, behold these heathen, Abba, right? Because you heathen ain't nothing to our Father. Isaiah 40, 15, 16, and 17, man. Go read it. I know. Shut your mouth. Don't say nothing. Go read it. Isaiah 40, 15, 16, and 17. Actually, it's right here too, but, you can go read it in Isaiah. Our Father Yahweh said you're less than nothing. He didn't create you for him. He created you for us. That's why he's giving you to us, and we're going to rule over you in the kingdom of heaven. Come on, man. It is what it is. Get down with it. Get with the program. Okay? You can't stop it. Okay? Only thing you're gonna do is bring greater judgment on yourself. Okay? Just like in that movie, the cartoon. How you doing? Just like in the cartoon Omni-Man, I think it was the second season or whatever it was. Our brothers feature it in their clips sometimes. And Invincible just got finished fucking up some defenders, some super soldiers that they got, which is what we're gonna do to their super soldiers. And he gets a megaphone of some sort and he starts speaking to the people and he was like, look, just get with the program. We're your new rulers. Okay? Look, we didn't destroy your cities. You destroyed your cities by resisting. In other words, because you resist us, you made us fuck you up. That's what he's saying, right? Yeah. That's pretty much it. Okay? That's pretty much it. Okay? These heathen which have ever been reputed as nothing. Wait a minute, Ezra's? That ain't true. Yes, it is. How you know? How you know that? Well, Ezra's read the book of Isaiah. Okay? Ezra's, by the way, Ezra's is talking to the Most High here. Okay? So he's telling the Most High what the Most High said. He's like, hey, man, look, you talking to somebody, you say, hey, man, remember that this, that, and other. You said you was gonna be there for me if this happened. You know, you said it, didn't you? And you tell somebody what they said. Ezra is talking to the Most High through the archangel Uriel. And you're gonna lie to the Most High and tell the Most High he said something he ain't say? No, Ezra is talking directly to the Most High through the archangel Uriel. And he says, which have ever been reputed as nothing, have begun to be lords over us and to devour us. Okay? And just to make that plain, in verse 56, as for the other people, which is the heathen nations, which also come of Adam, yeah, we all do, thou hast said, you said, Father, thou hast said that they are nothing. Ezra was being nice. Because actually, when you go and read it in Isaiah 40, our Father, he did say you're nothing, but then he came back and later on and said you're less than nothing. Because again, he didn't make you for him. He made us for him. We are his heritage. He made y'all for us. Y'all are our heritage. It's in the scriptures, man. I mean, come on. Okay? All right? Back in the second Ezra 6, let's finish it, though. Okay? Okay? See, it's just like Invincible was saying to the people. If you'll just get with the program, then we won't keep having to fuck you up. That's what Invincible was telling the people on the cartoon, man. But yeah, that's kind of like it. But there's no choice here. This is already written. You can't not get this. Okay? It's going to go this way. It's written. It is spoken. This is our Father Yahweh's will. And it really, in the spiritual realm, it's all already done. We're just playing it out in the physical realm. So that's where you deviate from the cartoon a little bit. Okay? Art imitates life, you know. There's a reason why that saying is in the word. But we thy people, yeah, we, that's us, not them, whom thou hast called thy firstborn. You called that's your firstborn, Abba. Yep. Thy only begotten. Yeah, we're your only begotten, Father, as far as nations are concerned, yes. And thy fervent lover. We're the ones that love you, Father. Yep, because he gave us his commandments. And if you love him, keep his commandments. We the only one can keep it. We're the only ones that can keep his commandments because we're the only ones that he gave his commandments to. So we're the ones that love him. And our Father said all that. Again, Ezra's is talking to the Most High. He's talking to God. Make it plain. Okay? And he says, you said, we're your firstborn. You said, we're your only begotten. You said, we're your fervent lover. And the Father's sitting there talking to him through the archangel, not directly, through the archangel. The Most High's not there. The archangel's there. And the Most High's like, yes, I did. Right, yep, I said that. Right, because he did. Ezra ain't lying. Are given into thy hands. But Ezra is lamenting that the heathen, which are less than nothing according to our Father's words, are ruling over us and treating us like shit. If the world now be made for our sakes, Father, if you made everything for us, and he did, including you heathen nations. So Ezra is confused. Why do we not possess an inheritance with the world? Why are we at the bottom? Why are we getting dogged out if you made all this for us? Why? And the reason why is because when we get our turn, it's eternal. And when we get our turn, it's everything. Okay? How long shall this endure? And he was given the answer. And this is 2nd Ezra 6. He was given the answer in 2nd Ezra 14. He was given the answer in 2nd Ezra 14. And we're at that time. He was given a timetable. Okay? And we're at the end of that time. Okay? That's a whole nother topic. Okay? So back over to Isaiah 14, and let me put the major spin, the major twist at the end of the movie, the lesson. Okay? Isaiah 14. What's going to happen to the one nation that after getting their asses whooped for 1,000 years for the controversy of Zion, the one nation that then is not going to get to enjoy the beautiful, wonderful peace? What's going to happen to the one nation that doesn't get to enjoy that? Well, back into Isaiah 14, we're going to answer that question, and then I'm going to wrap it. Verses 21, 22, and 23. I think, no, 21 and 22. That's all we need. 21 and 22. Okay? Isaiah 14 and 21. Prepare slaughter for, reincarnation incoming. It says children, but it's really sons. Of course, the daughters of the nation of Edom we're going to get it to. Prepare slaughter for his sons. Why are you punishing the sons? Why? I'll tell you why. For the iniquity of the fathers. Well, that's not right. Again, reincarnation. They are the fathers coming back again and being born, same spirit, same soul, being born back on the earth again in new flesh. A hidden saying, a dark saying. Okay? That's why the sons are paying for what the fathers did, because the sons are the fathers. Just in different flesh, though. Reincarnation. You know our Father Yahweh is not unjust to punish a son for something that his father did if it's two different spirits, man. Matter of fact, he said so. The son shall bear the iniquity of the son, and the father shall bear the iniquity of the father. The father's not going to bear the iniquity of the son, neither shall the son bear the iniquity of the father. In that case, he's talking about two different spirits. Here, it's the same spirit, reincarnation. But that don't mean they're all going to be... I almost let the cat out of the bag. Anyway, that they do not rise nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities, which is what Esau Edom has done. Okay, all these nations around the face of the earth that build these skyscrapers. I'm not in downtown. I used to preach in downtown, so I ain't got no skyscrapers here. But that build these skyscrapers like Moab, modern day Chinese. You got Ishmael over there building skyscrapers higher even than Edom does. They all copying Esau Edom. They all following Esau Edom, which Esau Edom is in his spirit to do that because his homeland is a mountainous region. And it's like, it kind of makes him feel, and in his spirit, they are serpents, but there's another animal that they're likened unto as well, which is the eagle. They like to be up high like that. And the mountainous region of Mount Seir and Petra, those are mountainous regions which are high up. And when they get into those skyscrapers and they look out those windows, it's like they're in a bunch of caves. And when you look back at Petra, that's what it will look like. You have the mountainside, and then you have a bunch of caves, which is kind of similar to what the skyscrapers would be, which is a big, huge mountain in a certain sense in their spirit, and the windows are those caves. That's what it's like. It's in their spirit to do that. Okay? So he's the one that's filled the earth with cities. Okay? That they do not rise nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. Okay? And here's the twist at the end of the movie that you don't see coming. You know, sometimes you watch the movie and then it's really good. And then when you get to the end, it totally takes a completely and totally left turn that you didn't see coming, and you hate it. You like, no, oh man, I really like the movie until it ended like that, man. I can't stand that ending. I hate the movie. Well, you might be getting ready to say that. Okay? Because this is what's going to happen to that one nation. Okay? And I'm going to give you a little more water to help you get it down. Okay? Okay? Verse 22. For I will rise up against them. The I is who you call God, Yahweh. You got a problem with it? That means you got a problem with him. And that makes you his enemy. And that means he's going to crush you into powder. Probably you and your whole household. Okay? You do not want to be the enemy of the Most High. But you heathen nations already are. For I will rise up against them, saith Yahweh of hosts. Get out of the way. And cut off from Babylon, America, Babylon the Great. But in this sense, it's Babylon is being used as a title or a reference to Edom, because Esau Edom is in control of Babylon. Okay? 137th Psalm, verses 7 through 9. And he's going to cut off the name, which goes into the literal name, yes, But it all that name Shum in the Hebrew also goes into fame. It also goes into fame and glory and reputation. Okay, like the so-called white man, you know, proud like this with his shoulder out, chin all up high, you know, because he's proud and he's famous. Everybody knows him, you know. Okay, all that's gonna be cut out. But our Father Yahweh just getting started. Cut off from Babylon, talking about Edom, the name, and remnants. Oh, a remnant? What's a remnant? A remnant is a small portion that's left. Most of Esau, Edom gets wiped out, and all you guys just remnant right here. Just a small portion. Maybe 1, 2, 3% of the Edomites are left. No, he's going to cut that off too. Let's take it again. From Babylon, the name, no fame, no glory, no name. And a remnant. Nope, not gonna be any remnant. You're not gonna be in the kingdom of heaven, and you're gonna be like, wait a minute, man, I'm ready for some Edomite food. What food is Edomite food anyway? Ain't no Edomite food. they rob they copying everybody else, right? Okay, well, whatever. I'm just ready to just kind of like feel them around some Edomites. Where's Little Edom? You know how you got like Little China? You go there and it's kind of like, it's all, even though you hear, it's like you're in China over there, right? Yeah, I want to go to Little Edom in the kingdom. Ain't gonna be no Little Edom. There's no remnant over there. There's no remnant. Okay? The name and the remnant cut off. Okay? And son. There will be no sons. Oh, now that was really bad, but now you're starting to cut deep where ain't no other nation got cut like that. Okay? Ain't no other nation got cut like that. Okay? Really, you could say that the name and the remnant, that's going to be cut off for all the nations. Okay? Because it's going to be as though they had never been. So really, you could kind of apply that to all the nations, right? But once you cut down to that son, now you're cutting down deep where that the other nations not getting cut that deep. Damn. Now I'm concerned. Do we have any survivors? No sons anywhere? Well, somebody got to have a nephew. Goddamn! If we can just have one nephew, then we can keep going through that nephew. Wait, let's read. Cut off from Babylon the name and remnant and son and nephew. You know what's coming. And nephew. Saith Yahweh. I don't believe that. Saith Yahweh. He's not a man that he should lie. What's that mean? That there's not going to be any son or nephew. It means extermination. It means extinction. And like I said, that's the plot twist you didn't see coming, and now you hate the movie, don't you? Right? Well, let me give you a little water with that. 18. Verse 18. All the kings of the nations, yeah, all the other heathen, even all of them, yeah, they will, as our slaves in the kingdom of heaven, serving us in the kingdom of heaven, giving us the best of what they got. Keep the laws, the commandments, and statutes like we're going to make them do. Oh, as they're doing that, after the first 1,000 years, everyone, all of them lie in glory. Yeah, they're going to have the benefit of being ruled by the righteous. Proverbs 29 and 10. They are going to be in love with the new management after the first 1,000 years. Okay? Everyone in his own house. Going back to the Micah 4. As it says in Isaiah, well, I'm in Isaiah, so let me get to Isaiah 2. Let me get to Isaiah 2. I already got the Micah 4. Okay? Isaiah 2 and 3. Oh, is that? I think I got it. That's over in Micah. There, you know, Micah has a little bit more detail, like I said. So let me read it to you over in Micah. I can't help myself, man. Okay. Here it is. Verse 4. But they shall sit every man, Micah 4 and 4. Sit every man under his vine. Peace, beautiful peace, man. And under his fig tree. And none shall make them afraid, for the mouth of Yahweh of hosts has spoken it. But they shall sit in every man under his vine and under his fig tree. None's going to make them afraid. Beautiful peace in the kingdom of heaven. All the heathen nations are going to get the benefit from that after the first 1,000 years. Okay? That's what Isaiah 14 and 18 is talking about. All the kings of the nations, even all of them, not just the king and all the heathen under him, lie in glory, everyone in his own house. But here's that contrast. Here's that juxtaposition. You, Esau, Edom, the bloodline descendants of Esau, the so-called white man, generally speaking, the one that ruled the nations in anger and made the earth to tremble, thou, you, art cast out of thy grave like an abominable branch. What do you do with abominable things? Burn them. Gotta go to Isaiah. I meant Obadiah. Okay, man, what do you want me to say? And as the raiment of those that are slain, thrust through with a sword, that go down to the stones of the pit as a carcass trodden under feet. Our Father Yahweh is just breaking it down on the Edomites, man. Thou shalt not be joined with them in burial. I'm gonna stop there, okay? That means when all the other heathen nations are enjoying the beautiful benefit of being ruled by the righteous in the kingdom of heaven, enjoying the beautiful peace in the kingdom of heaven underneath the Israelites, that's us, for all eternity, not Esau, Edom. They're gonna be eradicated. No name, no remnant, no son, no nephew, no Edomites. Obadiah. Now this is the point where you hate the movie now. Now you hate the movie. It was a good movie, wasn't it? Now you hate it. You hate the ending. Okay? Why? Okay? You an Edomite? Okay? If you're not an Edomite, what you hating it for? Okay? Yeah, you're gonna pay for the controversy of Zion. Our Father, you can't stop what our Father said, though. Okay? If you're gonna do it, we couldn't stop it. We had to pay for going off. Right? So let me get this in Obadiah. Okay? But you're gonna be good. It's gonna be better than you ever imagined. Under us. Serving us. Okay? We just read it, man. Okay? So get over it. Get over it. You can't stop it anyway. Obadiah. 18. Okay? Okay? As an abominable branch, what do you do with abominable things? What has always been done with abominable things? You burn them. That's abominable, man. Throw it in the pit. Burn it. Burn it with fire. Okay? Here you go. As an abominable branch, right? Obadiah 18, only one chapter. And the house of Jacob, that's us, shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph, still us, a flame, and the house of Esau, yeah, that abominable branch, for stubble. Abominable dry branch for stubble. What does a flame and a fire do to stubble? And they, wrong verse, and they shall kindle in them, whoosh, and devour them. One more time. Whoosh. And there shall not, no name, not, no remnant, not, no son, not, no nephew, be any remaining, not any, not one, of the house of Esau. For Yahweh hath spoken it. Boom. End of story, end of discussion. And so with that, I'm going to wrap this up. Before I do, I'm going to turn, face the east. When Nathan called the Pa'arath, Hawad wa Haloyim, Rabatum Yatla, Allah Hayanawa, Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shabbat, Recha HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Much peace, love, and respect to the brothers teaching and pushing the truth to the four corners of the earth. Adawan Radazah. This lesson was edifying and encouraging to you, Achim, and any Achwat that may be listening and or watching. Ayash Miyakona, Azanim Lashamai Shemai. Let him who has ears to hear. Kwam Yasharala, Baba Kusha, Abad Babal Aitha, we'll call Adawan. Shalom to Habacharium, peace to the elect, Ahabathum. Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shabbat Kudash Barakatam to you all. May Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shabbat Kudash Shamar Natham Wa Shamar Nawa Batak Wa Hawa Shainawa Mayan Babal Mahar Ahabatham Yawam Tuwab Walay Yala Tuwab as is applicable. Hey, stay faithful, brothers. Stay faithful, sisters. We almost out of here. Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shabbat Kudash to you all. Ahabatham Shalom.